Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another stream. It's absolute chaos. I didn't know what was happening this morning. So we obviously expected the postponement. We got the postponement. And then I was sat there at 8:45 just thinking I might just change the stream to 1:30 anyway because, well, obviously the deadline's not going to be at 11. And I thought, you know what? I love you guys and I want to stream anyway. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go live at 9. And just as I was doing a final wee before the stream, we have just got an announcement from official FPL that the deadline will be staying at 11 a.m. So, if you haven't caught up with the latest news, deadline is at 11 a.m, but the Liverpool game will not go ahead. I thought they would change the deadline to 1:30, but clearly they do not know how to code a website and they don't know which button to click to change the deadline, because why else wouldn't you change the deadline? It must literally be that they don't know how to work their own website, which doesn't surprise me, but here we are. So, deadline is in 2 hours, no Liverpool game. Let's just jump straight into it. God, it's exciting. I like a little bit of chaos. I look very pale. That light's a bit too bright. Oh, well. We rock with it. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know what you're doing right now. And this is very exciting. It also means we need to think about captaincy. We need to think about benches. All sorts is happening right now. But yes, just to confirm, do you know what? Let me unpin that message. Let me do a new pinned message. Liverpool game has been postponed. Deadline will remain at 11 a.m. UK time. Right, I'll post that and then I'll pin that. Oh god, this is chaos, chat. Right, pin message. Welcome, by the way. This is a very chaotic start to my morning. Izzy says, no Salah, play Wood or take a hit for Even Ilson. I'll just play Chris Wood. Got a headache. Got Mbermo, McNeil and Lewis I want to get rid of. 2 free transfers, 0.2 in the bank. Mbermo to Semenyo, McNeil to Matoma, Lewis to Timber. Any advice? I like the transfers. I just wonder if, do you need to make those moves this week? Mbermo's absolutely fine for this week, given that the Liverpool game's been called off, given the other issues we might have. I wonder if you just keep Mbermo. I'm probably leaning that way myself. But I do like the set of transfers, and it would be nice to eventually upgrade Rico Lewis. Does this mean a double game week for Liverpool? It does mean a double game week for Liverpool, and very sadly, and I'm gutted about this because I've used my triple captaincy chip, it looks like it will be a double game week of Wolves and Everton, or Leicester and Everton for Mohamed Salah. So that is painful. If you've got your triple captainship, you are absolutely laughing. Right, let me show you my team and what my current plans are then. So, I'll just move myself over slightly. This is the team. Obviously, I've not even touched it since we got the news. So obviously, Salah isn't going to be my captain. And obviously, Salah won't be in the starting 11 either. So I'm going to do Salah and Mbermo will just obviously be switched around. Mbermo will not be my captain. I can tell you that much for free. And Palmer becomes my captain. I'll probably put Isak as my vice captain because I have a good feeling about him anyway. Do you know what? I'm tempted to captain Isak. But then the team will look like this. So, I've got Mbermo to cover Salah. To be honest, I didn't really love the idea of selling Mbermo. The only reason I really wanted to sell him is, he hasn't been great recently, but I wanted to get Trent into my team. So now I can't get Trent by selling Mbermo. A lot of people will be like, still selling Mbermo for Semenyo, and I could do that. But it was only to be able to afford Trent. So I don't see the need to do that right now. And then the only other thing is if Gabriel misses out, well, I get Leif Davis off the bench. So I honestly, and then I've even got Vandenberg, worst case scenario, if another player does miss out. There is some part of me which is still tempted to make a defender transfer. So I've got 1.1 million in the bank and 2 free transfers. I could do something like Lewis to Timber or Leif Davis to Timber. So that option is there for me. But as of right now, this is the plan, is basically just to roll. Ross, I'm begging you to sort your kit out. You say this, but then last year I created a kit and then everyone complained that the kit wasn't pretty enough for them. So I just decided this year to avoid the insults, I'm just not creating a kit. But yeah, I probably should create a kit. Maybe we'll do that post-deadline. I took a hit last night to get Trent and Isak. Should I free hit to cancel it? To get Trent and Isak? No, I wouldn't free hit to cancel it. You just have to bench Trent. Hopefully you've got a decent enough bench to cover it. I wouldn't free... Lots of people be tempted to free hit. The only way I would free hit, and this is probably the only way, is if you've got no remaining free transfers, you've got triple Liverpool, maybe 1 or 2 Everton for some reason, and you also have a couple of other players that are doubts. If you're looking at your team and thinking, I might not get 7 or 8 players out, well then yeah, that's a free hit. Otherwise, I don't think you need to do that, personally. It's 1 a.m. for me. What is going on? So to confirm, the Liverpool versus Everton game has been cancelled, but the deadline is staying at the same time. I have no idea why they're keeping the deadline at the same time. I again assume it's probably some level of incompetence, sadly. Ross blank hit is symbolic. Thank you very much. I put what for my blanks in FPL? Probably. Here for FPL has been a member for 8 months. Thank you very much. Is it worth the free hit if you've done a -8 for Trent? No, because you took the hit for Trent to bring him in. He's in your team. You probably still want him moving forward. He's going to have a double game week at some point. Again, the only way I would free hit is if you're looking at your team and you're thinking, there's a very good chance I don't get even 10 or 11 players out, and I'm looking at more like 7, 8, or 9. Why has the game been postponed? It's been postponed due to awful wind and rain, and also the temperatures. Like apparently it feels like -8. Let me have a look right now. So right now in Liverpool... Here you go. This is what's going on right now in Liverpool. So it's 34 mile an hour winds, 61 mile an hour gusts, and it feels like -9, even though it's 6 degrees. So it's honestly, apparently, I was just speaking to some people that live in Liverpool. Apparently, it's like outrageous how bad the weather is. It's just not safe. And even the football, can you imagine the ball going up in the air with 65 mile an hour gusts? Poor Mohamed Salah would be flying around. Do Isak captain and have some fun. I'm doing Bowen. Feels like a good week to have some fun. I agree, but Isak is so lowly owned that it's like I'd be buzzing if he does anything anyway. I don't know if I need to take that extra risk. I know it's a bit boring and safe considering my rank, but I might just go Palmer. Are there a risk of any other games being called off? Yes, there are. It's apparently quite bad in London, but everything's still running normally. I was just looking at trains and stuff. There are some minor delays, but generally at the moment, London is functioning this morning. So I would be very surprised. And apparently by Sunday, Monday, it starts to improve a little bit. So you would imagine that the Monday game is absolutely fine for the likes of Jared Bowen. You'd imagine that the Sunday games will be okay. And today's games, unless it really picks up. Like, let me have a look at the weather right now in London, because it doesn't... This turned into a weather forecast stream. In London right now... I mean, it's windy. It's 23 mile an hour with 49 mile an hour gusts, and it feels like -6. But that's very different to 60 mile. To be fair, that's the that's the precipitation map in London. Yeah, honestly, the weather's not good in London, so there is a chance. What I would say, and this might sound like a very obvious point, is don't captain and vice captain players playing in the same game. So let's say you've got Palmer and Jackson, and you think that Chelsea will absolutely demolish Spurs. I still wouldn't captain Palmer and vice captain Jackson. So just make sure that you're, and maybe ideally, I've not done this really, but maybe try and make sure that your captain and vice captain play in different parts of the UK. Maybe like vice captaining João Pedro against Leicester away might be a good idea, because Brighton play on the Sunday and it's in the Midlands. Is United versus Forest in danger? I would say probably not. It doesn't sound as bad in Manchester right now. I've not heard any reports that could be off, so I would doubt it. FPL Pickle says, can we just appreciate how committed the egg is to the cause? I know. I'm here. We're always here. By the way, if you are enjoying the stream, can I ask for an early like and make sure to subscribe as well? I set the goal of hitting 140,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we're only about 500 subscribers off. So if anyone is watching this right now and you're not subscribed, please do so. I wish I was a Watkins owner. Yeah, I know. Southampton at home. Doesn't sound like there's any issues down there. Up there. Down there? Up there. In the Midlands right now in Birmingham. Birmingham? It's kind of down for you. Yeah, I know. That's what I was confused by. Then I realised that for most people it'll be up. In Manchester now, it's not nearly as bad as Liverpool sounds. Yeah, I know. That's good to get confirmation. Yeah, I've not heard any bad reports from Manchester.
Yeah, I've just checked the forecast. The winds are nowhere near as bad.
Okay.
Similar to here.
Okay, so apparently Manchester and Midlands all seem... I honestly think this will be the only game postponed. We were even hearing reports yesterday that it could be. And it's because of where Liverpool is situated in the UK. It's on the coast, but it's also very close to Wales, which have had really... Are you a baldy? Yeah, what do you think?
-9 degrees, feeling like -9 is crazy.
Right, yeah, I know.
It's
well, it is considering that it's 6 degrees.
Yeah.
So that's like a 15-degree difference based on just wind. Frosty said, I don't know. We're not far from Birmingham. Our patio chair blew over. Pretty crazy conditions here. Well, I mean, I'm in Nottingham. It's very windy, but wind isn't enough to postpone a game. It needs to be pretty awful weather. Welcome to the Raptor forecast. We are here for it. Right. Benching headache all week. The storm made it easy. I'm not going to lie. I actually don't mind this. Firstly, It means I don't have to sell Mbeumo, I don't have to bench him, and I don't have a benching headache between Rodgers and whoever else I have. Secondly, it means that I don't have to make a transfer as well. I think that's nice. It means that I'll have 3 free transfers going into game week 16. And yeah, benching headaches largely sorted. Like, I'm going to probably rely on most of my bench this week. I do still have the choice between Sanchez and Fabianski. And I do still have the choice between Aït-Nouri and Leif Davis, but largely it's okay. Wood and Mbeumo to Rodgers and Isak -4. Cheers, Ross. Rodgers and Isak for Wood and Mbeumo -4. I mean, you're taking out 2 penalty takers and buying 1 penalty taker. You're taking out an away and a home for an away and a home. I mean, I would much prefer Rodgers and Isak. Is it worth a -4? Maybe just about. Just about. But I also think you could get away with not making that set of moves this week. I'm very biased because I have Rodgers and Isak and I like them for this week. Asher Wren says, no Van Dijk or Mikalenko means my defence is Gabriel, Murillo and Greaves. Is it worth a -4 point hit to switch out Greaves? Okay, your defence is Gabriel, Murillo and Greaves. No, I'll just play Greaves. He's going to start. Is there any defender that I would comfortably say outscores Greaves at that cheaper price by 4 points? Probably not. I'd leave it. Izzy Gaming has become a Wrap Tier 2 member. Thank you very much. Can they suddenly play tomorrow? Maybe have Salah as captain. Liverpool can't play tomorrow because they play in the Champions League on Tuesday. And that is not allowed. It's not a long enough turnaround. They'd literally have 1 rest day. Is it away or at home for Liverpool in the Champions League? Let me type in Liverpool. I think it might be at home. No, it's away. They play in Spain on Tuesday, right? They can't play on Sunday in Liverpool and then have to travel, no proper rest day, and then play. And it's at 5:45 on Tuesday. Yeah, they can't play the game tomorrow. They also can't play it midweek because there's a Champions League game, and UEFA aren't going to reorganise a game for the Premier League. So it's basically confirmed there'll be a double game week later in the season for Liverpool. I think game week 25 and 33 sound quite likely. It does sound like it will be a very good double game week for Salah. So Salah's double game week later in the season will be either Leicester and Wolves, at the moment it looks like, or Leicester and Everton, or Wolves and Everton. So obviously the Everton game will be part of the double game week, and the game weeks that it could go into is either Leicester or Wolves. So yes, if you've got your triple captain, I should say, you're in a very good position. Best defender to bring in under 5.4 million. Need him to play the next 3. Well, I would have said Joe Gomez. Sadly, that's not going to be a possibility now. You need him to play the next 3 to 4. Probably Lewis Hall, all right? Brentford, Leicester, Ipswich. I think it's Villa after that, is it? Or United? But it's not a bad run of 4 fixtures. The next 3 are great. I'd be tempted by Lewis Hall. Outside of Lewis Hall, it's a tough one, really. There aren't any defenders that massively stand out to me at that cheaper price. It's a shame you can't stretch to Yuri and Timber, I guess. I would probably leave it at Lewis Hall. He'd be my favourite defender. Maybe a Brighton defender. Time to move on from Jackson now. No, surely not. No, you keep Jackson. He's just had a rest. He's got a Spurs defence which has been ravaged with injuries. They should have lost about 5-0 to Bournemouth in that game. I'd be very, very happy having Jackson at the moment. I wouldn't sell him. Hey, go. Hello, Nicola. Or Nicola. I always butcher your name, I'm sure. Got 4 options. What are your thoughts? Porro to Kirkes. Possibility. And Garnacho to Gordon. I like those transfers. Garnacho to Kuda/Doku. Mikalenko to Colwill. And then Porro to Colwill and Havertz to Isak. I wouldn't sell Havertz. Out of those options, I quite like the first one, probably. Porro to Kirkes and Garnacho to Gordon. That feels like a nice set of upgrades. That's probably the way I would lean at the moment, but I don't feel like you have to make any of those moves, especially for a hit. EM says, why Palmer over Saka captain? Not sure who to go with. This season, Spurs are 13th for expected goals conceded. I think Fulham are now 6th for expected goals conceded. No, they're 5th, I should say, for expected goals conceded. So Spurs are just a worse defence than Fulham. On top of that, I just think that Fulham are in a better run of form. Like, Fulham performed pretty well against Brighton. They look like a better outfit than Spurs at the moment. And I think Palmer has greater goal threat than Salah. And that's backed by the numbers. The only thing that I would say in favour of Saka is significantly more consistent. Like, if you were to tell me that one of the 2 blanks, it's probably more likely to be Palmer that blanks. Like, Saka always ticks along with little assists from corners. He gets penalties. He finds way to score an assist from open play. Like, Saka's very consistent. Palmer, it feels like it's going to be 2 or 25 with him quite often. I know that wasn't the case last week, but it honestly could have been. Are you benching Salah? Why Salah bench? If you've not seen based on the title and the news, the Liverpool game has been postponed. This isn't me trying to be funny or anything. The Liverpool game's off. I mean, I could just put Salah in my starting 11 if it will make you happy, but I thought I would put him on the bench for now so that you can see what the 11 actually will be. I'm very happy just putting Brian and Burmo in this week. Like, I don't feel the need to sell him. Isn't Lewis going to be benched this time? Well, refresh the page. Oh, is he red flag now? Yeah, that'd probably be a good idea. Oh, he'll probably just have a little, like, line for his fixture, won't he?
You're just, like, blank on mine.
Yeah, she's just blank. There we go. Thanks, guys, for telling me to refresh. Pickle, do you think Rodgers starts? Someone asked.
I wasn't too sure, but loads of people seem to think he will, so...
Yeah.
I trust FPL Villain.
We'll talk about Rodgers in a second, because I can show you some good stuff that would make you feel more likely that he's going to start. Do you think it's worth moving Cunha to Isak on a free? Nah, not before the El Sakaco. And I think that Cunha's a good shout against West Ham's defence, so no, I would probably keep. Take out Mbeumo and Raul for Semenyo and Isak. Mbeumo and Raul for Semenyo and Isak. Not for a hit, I'm not sure. Like, if that was for free, yes. For a hit, it's one of those, again, where it's like, probably do... Well, I do prefer Semenyo and Isak. But Mbeumo and Raul Jimenez are both penalty takers. Both very talismanic for their team. And Mbeumo's on corners as well. That could backfire. But yes, I probably generally do prefer Semenyo and Isak. Flecken to Verbruggen or Wissa to Eva Nilsson. I think I slightly prefer Wissa to Eva Nilsson. I think Flecken makes a lot of saves. Do I expect a Verbruggen clean sheet? Not massively. I'd probably say Wissa to Eva Nilsson slightly, Liam. Dave says, as a Chelsea fan, I've seen this before. Spurs will be massively up for this game and make it a lot harder than you think. Didn't Palmer do exceptionally well against Spurs last year, though, Dave? I don't necessarily need Chelsea to beat Spurs. I just need Palmer to do well. That's more of the question, really, isn't it? Do you think Timber is a nailed starter? I think he's about as nailed on as an asset can get right now, yeah. Calafiori's a doubt. Zinchenko's not very good. They've got no Tomiyasu, no Ben White. I mean, who are they? They could play Partey at right back and Zinchenko at left back. But when Timber's fit and available and playing as well as he is, I think Timber's relatively nailed right now, yeah. Fabianski or Flecken this week? I'd say Fabianski there. Johnson to Semenyo, Cliver, Ahmad, Matoma. Got Salah. I mean, I'd probably just keep Brennan Johnson at that stage. But out of those options, I'd probably just about prefer Matoma. And then after that, I would say Semenyo. So Matoma, Semenyo, Ahmad, Cliver. Probably for me in that order. Maybe Cliver ahead of Ahmad. Strand Larson, Eva Nilsson or Wissa. What to bring in? I prefer Eva Nilsson. Eva Nilsson's been really, really good. Wow, your girl has ball knowledge too. Lucky man. She does. She's a Villa fan. She beats me in FPL most seasons. She's very good. Right, let me talk about Rodgers. That's reminded me. So if you don't already follow, there's two accounts I'd like you to follow. FPL Villain is fantastic for... And by the way, FPL Villain can't predict the future, so please don't have a go at FPL Villain if he's wrong. But he's very good for predicting Villa team news. And he's also been in the past very hesitant on Morgan Rodgers. Last week, he had him at like 60, 65% to start. This week, he's got Morgan Rodgers up at 85%. And so he thinks that a start for Morgan Rodgers is very likely. So what did he say? Did he comment on Rodgers? No, but throughout the week, he said that he's kind of semi-confident. Like here, he said high confidence in Watkins and Rodgers start. Now, he doesn't know Emery. He's not the one picking the lineup. But then there's an account called Jump the Wave. Emma, she does fantastic work every week. I can't imagine the amount of work that goes into this. But she collates predictions from fans of the clubs. And for Aston Villa, so the percentage reflects how many of the fans have predicted that that player will start. If I scroll down, where are you, Aston Villa? We'll get there in the end. Here we go. Rodgers is at 100%. How many predictors do they have here? 3, 6, 9, 12, 14. So out of the 14 predictors, 100% of them having Rodgers as starting this week, which is massive, right? In any given week, I reckon... Do you know what? Let me try and see what it was for the Brentford game, just to show you that it's not necessarily that just every week they think Rodgers will start, because I'm sure it was a little bit lower for Brentford. That's Liverpool game week 13. I want game week 14. Aston Villa game week 14. Oh, Rodgers was 100% last week. Maybe they just love Morgan Rodgers. I have seen him down at sort of 60 to 70% in past games. So FPL Villa has him at 85%. He's 100% on Jump the Wave. Apparently, it was one of his better games against Brentford. Listen, I do think there is a chance that he's benched against Southampton, but all of that would make me feel comfortable enough starting him, basically. The thing is, for a 5 million mid, it's not worth overthinking. Just play him and hope for the best. I agree with that, Frosty, especially now that Salah's out, right? What are you going to do? You've probably not got the squad depth to bench Rodgers anyway, so we just start him. Who's good for a free hit? I really wouldn't free hit this week unless you desperately need it, but let's say you do desperately need it. Who would I have? Well, I'd have probably João Pedro. I mean, my front line, I'm not... Well, I'd have Haaland, actually, that's a lie. I would probably have Isak, because I think Isak's a baller and Brentford's a great game. I'd probably have João Pedro for the price, and I'd probably have Haaland ahead of Cunha. So my front three would be like Isak, Haaland, João Pedro. I'd have Saka and Palmer. Who else would I take a risk on in midfield? Who would I desperately want? Maybe Bruno Fernandes against Forest? I would probably have Morgan Rogers, even if he's your fifth midfielder. I'm not going to lie. Free hit looks a bit gross. All of the good teams are playing away. Some of them, like Saka's got Fulham away. Palmer's got Tottenham away. Maybe I'll take a risk on De Bruyne if you think he's going to start. De Bruyne is always a nice differential if you can afford it. The FPL page has crashed. Oh my God, if that's true, they're in that. I'm not going to refresh just in case that is true. What about João Pedro as captain? I just think his minutes are enough of a doubt for me. If you told me João Pedro plays 90, I think João Pedro is probably my favourite captain out of anyone on my team. Because he's got great data, he's on penalties, Leicester are one of the worst defences, and it's a Sunday game. I like everything about it, but his minutes are in doubt. If Welbeck is back and available, do you know what? Speaking of good predictors, FPL Instinctive is very good. Let's go back to Twitter. By the way, make sure to follow these accounts. I'm trying to suggest their handles because they do really good work. But FPL Instinctive is a Brighton fan, often posts articles or threads. He's normally very sure on João Pedro's minutes. If you can't see that, he's got João Pedro at 55%. And on the follow-up of why he's got him at 55%, let me just scroll down here. Where is he? Here we go. He said, João Pedro, I really don't think João Pedro's minutes are secure this week. I have him at 51 to 60 expected minutes, but perhaps this will be easier to explain with the context of the attack. And he goes on to say, obviously, Danny Welbeck is a late fitness call. If Danny Welbeck's available, he can play as the 10, and Evan Ferguson can start as the 9. So it could be a position, if they need to give João Pedro a rest, which we don't know because we're not the physiotherapists, where Evan Ferguson is the 9 and Welbeck is the 10. I think João Pedro starts, but again, could we see an early sub? Yeah. So just for me, there's too many doubts around João Pedro's minutes. So I'm not going to captain him, but you could go for it. Right, where was I? Which three to start? Gabriel, Collins, Hall, Lewis, Ait-Nouri. I would start Gabriel, Hall, and Lewis. I would bench Collins and Ait-Nouri. Yeah, I think that defense is fine. I don't think you need to make a transfer there. Hopefully that helps that question from you, Shavam, about João Pedro captaincy. If you think his minutes will be... If you think João Pedro gets 75 plus, I think he's a great captain. I don't, so therefore I don't like it. Got Palmer and Watkins. Who's the better captain? Gut says Palmer. Watkins, it comes down to the minutes. Like, do you expect Watkins to get, again, 75, 80 minutes plus, or do you think this is a good opportunity to give him a bit of a rest ahead of that Leipzig game? I think Watkins' minutes are probably around 70, again, is expected min. So I would probably say, yeah, I would captain Palmer ahead of Watkins, believe it or not. Dave says, I've got 4 premium mids, selling Son to reinvest in my attack and defense. Okay? Do I go Ødegaard, Gordon, or Semenyo? I love Gordon. I really think Gordon's a great shout for the next 3. I would prefer Anthony Gordon. I also think Ødegaard is so expensive in comparison to Gordon and Semenyo. I think Ødegaard's great, but he would need to offer me a lot more Ødegaard for me to suggest him ahead of Gordon or Semenyo. By the way, welcome to the 4,500 people watching. Again, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do consider subscribing. And if you have missed the news this morning, Liverpool versus Everton has been postponed, but the FPL deadline is still in 1 hour and 34 minutes. So it is still at 11 a.m. UK time. So it means we're going to have the deadline at 11, but then we won't have an early kickoff and we'll have to wait till 3 p.m. for the first game of the game week. Shaunak says, congrats on the Manchester United video. Who was the most fun to shoot with? I'm not familiar with UK geography. Will the weather affect the United game or others? Firstly, thank you very much. My favourite United players to film with was probably Mazraoui, De Ligt and Onana. The 3 of them were absolutely class. Mason Mount was also very lovely off camera. We had a bit of a chat. He was really willing to sort of discuss about things. So Mason Mount, as you can see in interviews, is a top man. Also, Luke Shaw, who sadly, the video isn't part of the main video, but he was also very, very cool too. In terms of the weather effect in the other games, we spoke about this. The weather in London is really bad at the moment, but nothing has largely been cancelled. The trains are still, to some extent, running. I highly doubt that, and I'm sorry if this isn't the case, but I highly doubt that the London games are called off. The weather in Manchester isn't too bad. I live in the Midlands right now, which is where like Nottingham is, Birmingham. It's where the Villa game will be played. I'm not seeing anything that would suggest to me that the games would be postponed. So I think you're largely probably okay. I think it will just be the Liverpool game. Would you go Watkins or Bowen as captains before Palmer? I mean, I just spoke about Watkins. Bowen's an interesting one because his minutes are always fantastic. It's Monday night. You get to wait until the end of the game week. I probably like Bowen captain more than Watkins just for the minutes. I don't love captaining a player that's a bit of a minutes risk. Should you? Yeah, do you know what? I should do a captaincy poll. You're absolutely spot on with that. Let me run a captaincy poll. Why was that so loud? I don't know. That's all right. Is that a Tenzin? That's a bit cheeky at 9:30.
Oh no, I'm gonna do some work now.
That's all right. Right, FPL GameWeek15 captaincy poll. Chat, what I need you to do right now, forget any questions, spam in the chat, who are you captaining? Who are you captaining for GameWeek 15? Fraser says, if you have Salah and triple captain, this is actually a good thing, the game being called off. Oh, it's amazing. If you have triple captain available, this is perfect news for you. This is absolutely brilliant news. Haaland, Salah, Palmer, Saka, Salah. That's so funny that people just still like Salah. Saka, Palmer, Haaland are probably the three most popular. There are a lot of João Pedros in there. A couple of Watkins. I'll probably just go for the three premiums, I think, in this poll, and then I'll do other. Palmer, Saka. By the way, I will just say this now. If I still owned Erling Haaland, I wouldn't even blink twice. But like captaincy would, it would be so easy for me. If I owned Haaland, I would captain him in a heartbeat. So if you've got Haaland, this is your... Like, Salah can't outscore Haaland this week. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. If Haaland gets minus points now, I'm sorry. But Salah can't outscore Haaland this week. This is your chance. If you're sat there as a non-Salah owner with Haaland in your team, you're laughing all the way to the bank. I think you've got to captain Haaland this week. Right, Palmer against Spurs, Saka against Fulham, Haaland against Crystal Palace. And then we'll go other comment. Right. There we go. There is a captaincy poll in the chat. Interesting, of course, that all three of them are away from home. But most of the good captains... In fact, I don't think there are any good captaincy options this week that are at home, other than, arguably, again, Watkins, if you think his minutes will be good enough. Stick with Brennan Johnson or swap to Matoma or Kudus. I mean, if you've got like 3 free transfers and nothing else to do, I'd do it. Otherwise, I'd probably just keep. I don't know if that's desperately worth the use of a transfer. I do worry about Matoma's minutes, but I reckon it will start again. Kudus is a decent option. Yeah, if you have like 2 or 3 free transfers, I would do it. Honestly, I think Matoma versus Kudus is very close. But if you're asking me across the next 5, I probably do prefer Matoma. What is Chunk saying here? What should I do? Play Aina? I mean, you can make a transfer or play Aina if you're listening, Chunks. If you're not listening, then I can't respond because I'm in the middle of a stream. Hey, Ross. Sorry.
You go.
Hey, Ross. 4 free transfers. Really want to do some moves. Mbermo to KDB. Okay. Gabriel to Timber. Well, why are we doing any of these transfers? I don't like Mbermo to KDB. I don't like Gabriel to Timber. Cunha to Evan. And Ryan Nuri to Hull. Have a pint on me, bro, and happy weekend. Firstly, Luke, thank you for being a member and thank you for the super chat. I feel bad now saying that I hate all 4 of those transfers. I don't like Mbermo to KDB, although that's probably the one I like the most. Gabriel to Timber wouldn't do in a million years. Cunha to Evan Ferguson wouldn't do in a million years. And Aiton Nuri to Hall, it's okay. I think you can get away with either rolling or making less transfers there. And Mbermo to KDB is not awful, unless you don't have the funds to do that and you obviously need to make the other transfers to downgrade. Happy weekend, Luke. I probably wouldn't make those moves, but I don't want to put you off massively. They could pay off. Who to bench? Luca Dean, Gabriel, Gvardiol, Timber. Who to bench? Oh, that's actually a very tough one. If we're... Oh, that's really awful. Do you know what? I might regret saying this. A lot of Villa fans are predicting that Luca Dean could be benched this week for Maatsen. Gabriel, Gvardiol, Timber. I might bench Luca Dean, but he's obviously got the best fixture against Southampton at home. So I've just seen enough doubts that maybe that's the one you bench, Kane. Who to transfer Højlund out for? -4 hit. I mean, Højlund could start, you know. Do I predict a Højlund start? Maybe. That's not out of the question. -4 hit. I'd probably still say João Pedro would be top of the list for me. Although there are doubts around whether he starts this week, of course. Still doing the Mbeumo transfer? No. I'm probably going to roll the transfer now and just go into game week 16 with 3 free transfers. It is, yeah. Like it could be that I still make the moves next week to bring in Trent, downgrade Mbeumo, but then I've got that extra transfer to also do something else. Equally, like you just never know what might happen. Let's say Haaland bangs in like 5 goals. I'd be very tempted to go back to Haaland and do some restructuring of the squad. I don't know how I'd even go about doing that. I'd have to sell one of Saka, Palmer, or Salah. But you get the drift. Like 3 free transfers is a great position. The only thing that's tempting me slightly, and this is a possibility, is Mbeumo to Gordon. Just with 1 free transfer and leave it there. But I've got Isak already. You could easily see this being like Brentford 2, Newcastle 0. And then I'd probably regret selling Mbeumo and I've brought in, well, I'd double Newcastle attack. It's almost just like hedging my bets a bit in that game. And Mbeumo is on penalties and he is on corners, right? Is it possible in a single game that Mbeumo stinks it up, plays very deep and very wide, but Brentford score from a corner and they get a penalty? Yes. And so Mbeumo can come away with 14 points playing very badly. That's the reason that I'm always a bit hesitant to sell or bench someone like Mbeumo. So this news has actually helped me out a bit. Jim says, imagine cancelling a game because of the storm. Named Dara, pure woke nonsense. Dyche will be ashamed. 4-4-2, big man up top. I can only imagine how ashamed Sean Dyche should be. I bet Sean Dyche was loving the idea of 60-mile-an-hour winds in a Merseyside derby. But yeah, for the safety of fans and players, I think it's probably the right call. Young and Mbeumo for Kirkes and Kluivert. What are your thoughts? Double Bournemouth. I like Kirkes. I'm still a bit hesitant on Kluivert myself. I still think I prefer Semenyo. I know Kluivert's on pens, and you know I love penalties. I think his minutes aren't quite secure enough. I don't know what to think. I will say yes for free, no for a hit. Bench 1 defender, Pau, Konsa, Davis, 8 Nuri. I would bench Pau Torres there because a lot of fans are suggesting that Mings could start again and that Pau Torres hasn't been very good. Or that Pau Torres could play left back instead of Luca Dean, which then makes him a really decent option. Maybe it's Leif Davis. Maybe you go all in for the Villa clean sheet and start 8 Nuri as well. I would bench one of Pau or Davis out of those players there. Blicky94 says, hi Ross, 2 free transfers. I could go Mbeumo to Matoma and Mikalenko to Kukurea, or Mbeumo to Gordon and Kukurea to Colwill. I assume you mean Mikalenko to Colwill, rather than, because you don't own Kukurea, right? Could take out Aina instead of Mikalenko, and could go to Rodgers instead of Gordon Matoma. Without seeing the rest of your team, and without thinking about it in as much detail as you, and seeing what future moves this might block, I think Mbeumo to Gordon and Mikalenko to Colwill feels like the best set of transfers there. But do bear in mind you're bringing in Colwill before Spurs away, which is probably not a great chance for a clean sheet. I know I've got Sanchez, but I already own him. If you have just joined the stream, by the way, just to recap, the Liverpool versus Liverpool versus Everton game has been postponed, and the deadline is staying at 11 a.m. So we have an hour and 25 minutes until the deadline, but we will not have an early kickoff today. That will mean that Liverpool gets a double game week later in the season. Bowen captain for me. Saka or Palmer vice captain. Mo bench. I like Bowen captain. Got no issue with that. I think probably West Ham win this game and Wolves sack Gary O'Neill. That's my prediction. Saka or Palmer vice captain. Whoever you've got more of a feeling about. I mean, Bowen's going to play, so you probably don't need your vice captain. I'd vice captain Palmer because I think he's a marginally better captaincy option than Saka. Redeem says, Mbeumo and Gordon or Bruno and Matoma to fund Eva Nilsson. Mbeumo and Gordon or Bruno and Matoma. Oh, that's tough. Probably Bruno and Matoma. Yeah, I mean, I do like Gordon. In an ideal world, it's Bruno and Gordon, I think, out of those options. But yeah, I'd probably say, if I'm thinking across the next 5 or 6 weeks, I think Bruno and Matoma are probably outscoring Mbeumo and Gordon. Just need to clip my back, sorry. A bit gross. And Burmo/Bruno to Saka. Plan was Bruno to Saka game week 16. I'd probably rather sell in Burmo than Bruno at the moment. But obviously, selling Bruno will give you more funds. So it depends what you need those funds for. If those funds allow you to get like Trent or Van Dijk in future weeks, then maybe keep Burmo. Hey, Ross was going to roll this week. Okay. Then go McNeil/Wissa out, bring in McNeil transfer forward to this week and have 8.7 to play with. Who to go to? I would probably go Anthony Gordon. If not Anthony Gordon, I think Matoma's great. If you want to take a punt on someone like Erdegaard, I've got no issue with it. I would go Anthony Gordon this week myself. If I am to sell him, Burmo, in the next hour and 20 minutes, I will sell him for Gordon, I think. Bowen is still a really decent shout, by the way. Just because he blanked, like his data was very good. The next 4 fixtures are really good for West Ham as well. Whether Lopetegui stays or goes, Bowen's minutes will always be very good. I'd be absolutely fine bringing in Bowen still as well. Salah to Palmer for a cheeky 1-week punt. No. Keep Salah. You've got money tied up in Salah, I'd imagine. You're going to want Salah back from next week. 2 transfers just to get Palmer and sell Salah, it's not worth it. You should value a transfer at 4 points, because even if you're not taking a hit, that is what a transfer is worth, according to FPL. So Palmer would have to go pretty nuclear for that to be justified. And the thing is, you want Palmer long-term anyway, right? You might as well try and think of a way to get Palmer whilst keeping Salah. Good morning, Warwick says. Good morning. Transfer Wissa to João Pedro or Evanilson. I still prefer João Pedro, but I think Evanilson's a great shout. His data's been so good. His minutes have been super secure as well. I have absolutely no issue with that. Liz Clark says, good morning. Which defender should I start out of Gabriel, Aitnuri, Mikalenko, Greaves, and Vandenberg? Good morning, Liz. I would definitely start Gabriel. I would definitely start Aitnuri. Mikalenko's not playing, so you've got no one there. And out of Greaves and Vandenberg, I think it's got to be Greaves for me. I would actually say, believe it or not, Ipswich have probably been defending better than Brentford. In my opinion, anyway. I think they've been unlucky with their recent results. And also, I back Newcastle slightly more than I back Bournemouth, I think. So I would probably have Gabriel, Aitnuri, and Greaves with Vandenberg first sub there. Have those options, Liz. Wood and Smith Rowe to Isak and Rodgers for a -4 hit. Yeah, I don't mind that, to be fair. Yeah, I quite like that. Smith Rowe's not really been at it. Chris Wood's fixtures aren't perfect. I also think that Nottingham Forest generally aren't the best attack. I know how good Chris Wood has been this season, and he's probably going to score against Manchester United. But overall, as an attack, they're not creating enough chances to sustain what he's been doing to this point. Dimitri says, I need to play Wood, Bruno, Johnson. Is my camera gone? Yep. I need to play Wood, Bruno, Johnson. Would you transfer anyone out, 1 free transfer, or would you roll to fund future moves? I don't have any West Ham, Wolves, or Aston Villa assets. I don't think you need any West Ham, Wolves, or Aston Villa assets, firstly. I need to play Wood, Bruno, Johnson. I think you're okay playing Wood, Bruno, Johnson. Wood and Bruno are fine. Johnson's always a slight rotation risk, but it's the sort of game where I think he could be quite useful on the counter. So I think Johnson has a decent chance of starting. I would probably just leave it, Dimitri, if it was my team. Andrew Moore says, free hit to bring in Haaland and go super differential. I wouldn't free hit, no. The only way I would free hit is if you are of the opinion that you might not have even 8 or 9 players. Like, if you think you've just about got 11, I still wouldn't free hit. The free hit will be so much more useful in future game weeks for me. It's only if your team's an absolute state, you own several players in the Liverpool-Everton game, and you feel like you don't have a good captaincy option, and you desperately want other players. Like, there would have to be a lot of things for me to advise it. PT says, Mikalenko to Gusto, ? 4.9 million budget or play with 10. If it's... I mean, but Mikalenko's probably not going to do much against Spurs away, is he? I would probably sell Mikalenko in this position, but I'm not sure about Gusto. Who would I go for instead? I'd be tempted by Mikalenko to Lewis Hall. I feel like if you're taking a -4 hit to Mikalenko this week, you want a player that you feel like will do it. Unless you are telling me that you think that he'll keep a clean sheet, in which case, go for it. What are your thoughts on Isak captaincy? I like it a lot. I've got him vice captain. Could I be convinced in the next hour and 15 minutes to captain Isak? I could. I just think for me, like, I'm happy enough owning Isak. Isak's ownership's going to be below 15 or 20%, I'd imagine. So what that means is I'm gaining 80% of Isak's points regardless. Now, yes, if I captain him, I gain 180% of Isak's points, but I don't feel like I need to take that risk at the moment. The thing is with Newcastle as well, they're very hot and cold. And I know to some extent Palmer is as an asset, but I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle beat Brentford 4-1. But if you told me that it was like 1-0 or 2-0 to Brentford, I wouldn't be like massively shocked either. And that just makes me a little bit hesitant to captain him. Hey Rossi, did we get any update on Welbeck? We did indeed. Welbeck is going to have a late fitness test as to whether he's going to be available. But apparently he was scheduled to train on the Friday. I think Welbeck will be available. Whether he starts or not is a different question. But yeah, I think he probably will be available. Ads says Salah to Saka, but won't be able to afford back. No. Not in it. I just wouldn't sell Salah in a million years for any reason. Next week, he's probably the best captaincy shout. The man's getting a rest as well. You have to remember that. You're going to have a fully rested Mohamed Salah. Well, not fully rested, but partially rested. Like, he's had the weekend off. He's probably not even travelled today. He's probably sat there right now in his pyjamas having a nice breakfast.
That's so true, because they haven't even had to, they wouldn't have even had to have traveled.
No, because they all live in Liverpool. Like, Salah's having a literal weekend off. He's going to be... I wouldn't sell Salah. Garnacho Mikalenko to Semenyo/Gvardiol for free. That's such a... Yeah. Go for it, Jordan. To be fair, I would still prefer Timber myself ahead of Gvardiol and Gabriel and Van Dijk and Trent. The issue is you can't have the Liverpool defenders this week. So, yeah, I do like it. And Gvardiol is probably underrated by me, to be honest, especially with the fixtures coming up. Do you know what? I like it. David says, apologies. Hi, Ross. I have Trent and Salah. Mbermo and Van Heck comes in. Yeah, that's great. Should I do Mbermo to Bowen or just roll? Love your channel, by the way. Thank you very much, David. No, I think... listen, is Bowen a better asset than Mbermo this week? Yeah, probably. So, like, if you've got a free transfer, by all means, go for it. I don't feel inspired using my free transfer to do Mbermo to Bowen. I mean, if Bowen had scored like 3, which he could have, in all honesty, in game 14, maybe my opinion would be different. But yeah, that isn't a move that desperately inspires me. I'll leave it there and just say that. I'm probably going to roll, but what did you say you think Wolves... Why did you say you think Wolves will sack their manager? Oh, sorry, did you say you think Wolves will sack the manager? Do you think their players will play to sack him? So my opinion on this is I don't think any player, and I could be wrong, or at least let's say any team of players has ever played to sack their manager. No player ever steps on the pitch, especially at Premier League level, to lose a game. You can hate the manager. You can hate the team that you're playing in. You never step on a pitch to lose a game. I don't think anyway. So I still think the Wolves team will try. But are you as motivated to play well? Are you as driven when you feel like the manager's going to be sacked soon and you're in a bad run of form? No. Of course you're not. We've seen with the Man United players all of a sudden know how to press. Man United players all of a sudden know how to run. That isn't just because they've suddenly got fitter. It's that motivation to play for Amorim and to show what they can do. So I expect West Ham to win for that reason. But at the same time, West Ham have been playing terribly. Lopetegui has as much risk of being sacked as Gary O'Neill. I will go out on a limb here and say I think whoever does lose this game, their manager will be sacked. So I don't think West Ham are suddenly going to try much harder than Wolves either. But yeah, I don't think they go out there and try and get their manager sacked. I just don't think that's how they play. But yeah. I just think you play... This Wolves-West Ham game could be anything. So I think you play your assets from Wolves and West Ham personally. Which is why I have 8 Nuri in the starting 11 ahead of Davis, because I wouldn't be surprised if West Ham do struggle and Wolves smash it. But at the same time, West Ham could win this like 3 or 4-0. I don't like that it's away, obviously. I'd prefer it to probably be at Molineux. Mbeumo and Raul to Semenyo and Cunha. Okay, very nice. To not play Raul this week with Salah out. If that's for free, then yes. But I don't like, as you said, that it locks you out of the Liverpool defence. If you don't own João Pedro, I wonder, could you go João Pedro? And then that probably wouldn't lock you out of the Liverpool defence, right? If you're doing Mbeumo and Raul to Semenyo and João Pedro, I'd be tempted to do that to leave a spot open. If you've already got João Pedro, then yeah, maybe you just go for it and block the Liverpool defence for now. Right, where was I? Dave says, Son to Semenyo to do Power and Wissa to Gabriel and Jackson -4 next week. Yeah, I don't mind Son to Semenyo. I mean, Son can do it in any game, but benched, not been quite at it. His minutes aren't there. I would do Son to Semenyo. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Tiki Taylor says Foden to Gordon, Bowen or Semenyo. I would go Gordon, then Bowen, then Semenyo. So in the order that you've listed them, Tiggy. Benjamin, thank you for the super chat. Says, hey Raptor, good morning. I've got Raya, Valdemarson, Lewis, Trent, Gabriel, Barco, Canate, Rogers, Smith Rowe, Salah Murphy, Cunha, Jackson, Welbeck. Any recommendations thinking about a free hit? Oh, God, that defense is a nightmare, isn't it? I mean, yes, you could free hit, but at the same time, you might have issues next week. That team is borderline free hit. And the only reason I say that, no, actually it's not. Because next week, you've still got the issue of Barco. You've still got the issue of Canate. Murphy, for me, isn't a great player to own just based on minutes alone. Smith Rowe, I don't love moving forward. Welbeck, we don't know how serious his injury is and if he could re-aggravate it. Like, these are all issues that you could semi-sort this week, but you're still coming back into next week with the same team. I think what you're looking at, Benjamin, is a big hit. I think you need to take a -8 hit to sort out some of your issues, mainly in your defence. So I would probably use at least 2 transfers to sell Canate and Barco, and then maybe a transfer for Murphy or Smith Rowe as well. I think take a hit rather than free hit would be my advice. And just sort your team out a little bit. The Scan Legend says Robinson to Hall. I've got no issue with that. GameWeek 16, Gvardiol to Trent and Bruno to Saka. Yeah, that sounds like a nice plan. AG says Haaland to Isak and Mikalenko to 8 Nuri, or keep Haaland and using Burmo to Matoma to fund 8 Nuri. Both would be free. I don't think you want to bring in 8 Nuri right now. In fact, I wouldn't bring in 8 Nuri. He's got 3 good fixtures, but he's on 4 yellow cards, and Wolves have been terrible. And he's playing in the back 4. He's not even very attacking. So I would go Lewis Hall instead of 8 Nuri, or Kirkes. But I wouldn't sell Haaland. So I would keep Haaland, doing Burmo to Matoma, and then Mikalenko to Lewis Hall or Kirkes. I'd be very tempted by Kirkes, actually. Hi, Ross. Start Colwell or Greaves? That's a tough one, actually. I'd start Colwell. I have Semenyo. Yeah, in that case, even more Colwell. Yeah, I'd start Colwell. Becky says 2 free transfers, -4 for Haaland and Mbermo and Diaz to Isak, Palmer, Saka. Would I sell Haaland, Mbermo and Diaz to Isak, Palmer, Saka? A -4 hit to sell Mbermo this week, but you're getting Isak, Palmer, Saka. I'd probably do that, Becky. I don't love selling it Mbermo and Haaland, 2 penalty takers this week for a -4, but I guess that's the case every week, isn't it? You've got to do it at some point. By the way, there are 5,300 of you here. Firstly, thank you very much for being here. The deadline is in just over an hour. The Liverpool game has been postponed. And can I please ask you to subscribe? We are trying to hit 140,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Let me do a little check on where we're at. We're only 230 subscribed. We could hit that in the stream. There are definitely 230 of you watching right now that aren't subscribed. Please do it. It will be a lovely early Christmas present for me. I'd really appreciate it. Lewis to Timber or Roll will do it eventually anyway. I'm in a similar position. I'm very tempted to do that this week. I could do Lewis to Timber. I think Lewis starts this week, so I don't think it's a desperate upgrade to have Timber rather than Lewis now. So I would probably Roll. Woods to Isak or Hall/Colwill to Trent next week. Wood to Isak this week. Or I love Alexander Isak. And I think Hall and Colwill are both good cheap defenders to own. I would do Wood to Isak. Just about. Stevie Boy says, Mbermo and Wissa out for Isak and Semenyo or Roll. If that's for free, I'd be tempted. If it's for a -4, no. Benjamin said, forgot to add 1 free transfer, 2.4 million in the bank. Love the stream as always. Oh, you're in a great position then, Benjamin. Yeah, I would get rid of Canate for... Can you get Timber? You don't have Saka though, do you? I wouldn't go for Timber then. I would do something like Barco to Hall or Kirkes. Canate to... I mean, you could even go Gvardiol or something. And then, yeah, I would maybe sort out the Murphy Smith Rowe situation. Kaz Edwards says, Winks/Anderson for Dibbling/Vandenberg for a -4. I wonder, Kaz, if your best move here is to try and free up some funds to upgrade Winks. Because like Winks to Dibbling doesn't really benefit you much. Anderson to Vandenberg this week benefits you a little bit, but like not really actually. Like Vandenberg's just not a good option. I would probably leave it and try and free up the funds somehow to just upgrade one of the two. Like if you desperately need players this week, Dibbling and Vandenberg could do something, but I don't know about doing those for a hit personally. Kay says, hi Ross, I've 1 free transfer. Is it good to sell Welbeck? I don't know that I'd sell Welbeck. He's still a great option for the next 4 or 5 games. He could even play in this. If you are going to, I definitely prefer Eva Nilsson to Strand Larsen. Yeah, I think Eva Nilsson is probably my second favourite cheap forward to own outside of João Pedro at the moment. Wissa and Garnacho to Isak and Ruta. I quite like that. Yeah, I do prefer Matoma though, Mike. I mean, this week I think Ruta's more nailed on to start than Matoma, simply because he's just had his rest. But long term, I prefer Matoma. See, I'd probably go Isak and Matoma. Sin says, bench 8 Nuri or Mazraoui. I'd bench 8 Nuri and start Mazraoui. And would you start Cunha or Rodgers? Surely you have you probably have Salah though, right? So you probably don't have to bench either of those. If you don't though, and you have to, I would bench Rodgers and start Cunha. Because Cunha's got more routes to points. He's got the penalties, he's got the set pieces, his minutes are better. Rodgers doesn't have set pieces, doesn't have penalties, and his minutes are probably lower. Keep Pedro Neto or bring in Bowen for a -4. I'd probably bring in Bowen. Will Madueke outscore Semenyo despite the minutes risk? This week, I would expect... Oh, you're talking about longer... I prefer Semenyo to Madueke. As you say, the minutes, I think, will over December will cause you issues. Gamer007 has become a Rap Tier 2 member. Thank you very much. Hayden says Mikalenko and Mbermo to Van Hecke and Erdegaard/Gordon -4. Mikalenko and Mbermo to Van Hecke and Erdegaard/Gordon -4. If it was for free, yes. For a -4, no. Maybe. I prefer Gordon to Erdegaard. It's right on the line. I'd probably just about say yes, but I think that's very close. Captain Saka, Rodgers, Semenyo, Matoma, or João Pedro. Out of those options, I would captain Bukayo Saka. Shazam says no derby, so it looks like F1 qualifying instead. What time's F1 qualifying on? I didn't realise it was that early. What time does it start? Where are we? We're in Abu Dhabi. 1:15. Oh, it is. Perfect. It's a 1. Oh, that's lovely, Shazam. Perfect. You've made my morning. So it looks like everyone qualifying. Instead, would you have Hall or Davis as #1 sub on the bench in case Gabriel does not start? Have a good weekend, mate. Firstly, thank you for always being so supportive, my man. I appreciate you. I would put Lewis Hall ahead of Davis. I think they're both very attacking. I always back Newcastle slightly more for a clean sheet. He's better for bonus points. I think Ipswich are definitely conceding. I would have Lewis Hall ahead of Leif Davis, I think. I hope Leif Davis doesn't smash it on my bench. I'd be pretty sad. By the way, we have just over an hour till the deadline. I appreciate you being here. Stick with me. If we do get any team news somehow for the 3 p.m. games, I will share it with you. But I think it's probably quite unlikely. And again, if you have just joined, just to confirm, the Liverpool game has been postponed, but the deadline will remain in 1 hour. Would you do Sells to Raya? Or would you do Johnson to Semenyo? I probably prefer Johnson to Semenyo. Listen, Sells to Raya is a massive upgrade, but just FPL's so unpredictable. Like, would I be surprised if Forest kept a clean sheet against United? No. Would I be surprised if Fulham score? No. I'd probably keep Sells for now. I mean, like you say, you could even start Fabianski, Jack. I'd probably still start Sells, but you could start Fabianski. The epilogue says, transferred Welbeck to Eva Nilsson because Welbeck maybe not playing, okay? Suggesting other wives play FPL to get more into football. Did wonders for me. Shout out to the hubby, with both big fans. I love that. I absolutely agree. And I'm not saying you should force them, but if you can encourage your wife in the correct way to get involved, she'll love it. Like, I'll give a good example. My sister, I've hired as a short form editor this season for me. So my only employee is my sister. She's always liked football. She's been doing FPL in recent years, but I can guarantee that my brother-in-law absolutely loves it that my sister is now big into FPL, because she has to be to edit my videos. So I love that. And yeah, I can't tell you how much I love that. My missus, FPL Pickle, who's sat behind my green screen, loves FPL and football as well. It's a really nice bonding experience. Like, you sit down and watch the games, then you argue because you own different players. Like, it's lovely. It sometimes can be a pretty... Listen, just try and own roughly the same players, and then there's less arguing involved. Alexander says, by the way, thank you very much for the super chat. 2 free transfers, and Mbermo to Saka and Rodgers. Sorry, Fernandes and Mbermo to Saka and Rodgers. Saka and Rodgers for free for Mbermo and Fernandes. Mbemo and Fernandez out as two players that take free kicks, penalties, and corners, both playing at home, feels like a recipe for a disaster. But yeah, I prefer Saka and Rodgers, so I'd probably do it. Scott says, I have Onana, Timber, Gabriel Hall, Saka, Salah, Palmer, Bowen, Pedro, Cunha, Jackson. It's a lovely team. Bench Fabianski, 8 Nuri, Semenyo. Okay, so you're going to get Semenyo off the bench for Salah. Is that your only Liverpool player there? Yeah. What is my advice? Nothing. Enjoy your green arrow. That's a love. Like, I won't say there's no chance you don't get a green there, Scott, but it's a lovely team. You don't need to make a transfer. Semenyo is wonderful cover for Salah. You've got no other players there at a massive risk. For Gabriel, if he doesn't feature, you've got 8 Nuri. It's a perfect team, Scott. I like it a lot. Paul says, Ross, thinking of rolling. Okay. Also could be tempted to sell Delap to Eva Nielsen and Mbeumo to Matoma/Awobi. I don't mind keeping Delap ahead of Eva Nielsen. I mean, they're playing in the same game. Would I prefer to have Eva Nielsen? Yes. If you've got multiple free transfers, I don't mind selling Delap to Eva Nielsen. I think you can just keep Mbeumo this week, probably. Considering that downgrading him to Matoma or Awobi won't give you the funds to bring in a Trent or anything like that, I'd probably just roll, Paul. I agree. I'd probably do the same. And thank you for the super chat. Start Greaves or Hall? I'd start Lewis Hall. Jason says, thanks for the great content every week. You're more than welcome, Jason. Thank you for the support. I may have missed it earlier, but thoughts on captaining Saka over Palmer? Yeah, I just said Saka is playing against Fulham, who are 5th for expected goals conceded. Palmer's playing against Spurs, who are 13th for expected goals conceded. Fulham are in a really nice run of form. Like, they've just beat Brighton 3-1. On Spurs, they just lost 1-0 to Bournemouth. It feels like Spurs are in a bad run of form, and it feels like Fulham are in a good run of form. I know Arsenal have been playing fantastically well too. I just like the matchup more for Palmer. Also, Chelsea have had an extra day of rest in comparison to Spurs, which I like. I think it's a game that they'll just outrun and outperform Spurs, is my prediction. Wood to Cunha. I like that. Or Brennan Johnson to Gordon or Roll. I like that. I probably prefer Brennan Johnson to Gordon. I really am jealous of Gordon owners this week, and it's making me wonder if I should just do Mbeumo to Gordon, but I'm probably going to roll. But I really like him. JM says, hey, mate, why Captain Palmer over Saka? I've just answered that part. I just think better fixture. I just fancy him slightly more. Current defense of Raya, Gvardiol, Gabriel, 8 Nuri, Leaf Davis, Johnson. Okay, use a free transfer in Game Week 16 to bring in Gomez -4 for 8 Nuri. Okay, so defense is Raya, Gvardiol, Gabriel, 8 Nuri, Leaf Davis, Johnson. It's actually not that bad, yeah. Would I bring in Gomez for a -4 for 8 Nuri in Game Week 16? No, because he's got Leicester or Ipswich, hasn't he? He's got Leicester and Ipswich in consecutive weeks. Unless he's suspended, no. I wouldn't do that. If it was for free, I don't mind it. I think the time to sell 8 Nuri is either when he gets suspended or after the Leicester and Ipswich games. Okay, it's Ipswich next week, right? So West Ham, Ipswich, Leicester. Look at that run of games after that. Like, you do need to sell 8 Nuri soon, but the time to sell 8 Nuri for me probably isn't until he gets suspended or until Game Week 18. So that's when I'm probably looking at doing it. Start Hall and Mbeumo and save. Sorry, start Hall and Mbeumo and save, or transfer Timber and Semenyo in. Can't make Hall Timber without Mbeumo funds. Have Rodgers already in 2 free transfers. Honestly, Tuna, so I'm going to lean forward because my back is killing me. I would probably, that's a very tough one. I'd probably roll, Tuna. I'd probably roll. Sanko says, hi Ross, would you have either Timber and Awobi or Trent and Enzo for Mikalenko and Mbeumo? Well, I mean, I wouldn't bring in Trent this week because he doesn't play, right? I assume you know that, but maybe if you've sort of like, I zoned out earlier because Pickle was like, who should I bring in? I was like, bring in Gomez, and then I forgot the game was called off. So I'm assuming you've either forgotten here or you can bench Trent, but I think this week then, as a result, it's got to be Timber and Awobi. Longer term, I love the idea of getting Trent in. So if you're talking about next week doing this, I would go for the Trent combo. What's the reason for triple captaining in a double game week? Because you get 2 fixtures? Bit confused by the question. You triple captain in a double game week because you get essentially 4 fixtures rather than 2. All right, so you get double the lot. So like if Salah has Leicester and Everton in a double game week, you're getting double Salah against Leicester and then double Salah against Everton. It's wonderful. I wish I hadn't triple captained now, but I didn't suspect that we'd have a Liverpool game called off due to windy conditions. Should I free transfer in Fernandez for Mbeumo? No. Fernandes is fine at the moment, but Manchester United is still experimenting. We still don't even know really if Bruno will persist as the number 10 or if he'll start to drop a little bit more deeper again. He's trialed him out in both positions. I just think we need to wait and see a little bit more Man United. Listen, also, Nottingham Forest aren't a bad defence. I know City dominated them, but it was largely a very good performance from Man City. They're not, and I know, obviously, to be fair, Arsenal did score a few goals against them. I think largely it's a game where you would expect Forest to keep United scoring down a little bit. Cristiano says, 2 free transfers. Option 1, Gabriel and Mbeumo out for Timber and Saka. Option 2, Fernandes and Gabriel out for Saka and Saliba. Option 3, Fernandes to Saka. I wouldn't sell Gabriel, so option 1's done. And option 2's done. I would do option 3. Don't sell Gabriel, do Fernandes to Saka. Jace says, start Rico or 8 Nuri. Already starting Gabriel and Saliba. Start Rico or 8 Nuri. I would have Rico Lewis marginally ahead of 8 Nuri myself, unless you think there is enough doubt around a Rico Lewis start, in which case just start 8 Nuri. Thor with the super chat. I love this so much. Can confirm that Epilogue Lady, my wife, already got one over on me this game week as I transferred in Kelleher for Sanchez in the midweek. Mad skills. Love your channel, and it is our regular weekend ritual. I love the idea of a husband and wife sat there beefing each other over FPL and watching my live streams. I appreciate you for watching. Big shout out to your wonderful wife. Big shout out to you as well. And try to let me know throughout the season. Maybe towards the end of the season, let me know what your mini league standings are. I'd love to keep up with that. But yeah, thank you very much for the super chat. If you're wondering who's winning out of me and Pickle, Pickle's about 40 points clear of me, I think, at this stage. She's doing very well once again, as she always does. Palmer or Haaland captain? I'd have Haaland ahead of Palmer. Hey Ross, what are your thoughts on selling Mbeumo to Semenyo until game week 18, then going to Iwobi? I have Hall in defence, 2 free transfers also. Semenyo for a couple of weeks and then going Iwobi. Can you not rotate Iwobi if you're that desperate for him? Like, Rodgers has decent fixtures in the next couple. Can you not just start Rodgers? Also, doesn't Iwobi in game week 17 have Southampton at home? Have I made that up? I might have made that up, to be fair. It might be 18. No, in 17 he has Southampton at home. Yeah, and then in 18 he's got Chelsea away. I think you either just go for Iwobi and pick Iwobi, or you just go for Semenyo and pick up Semenyo. I don't think there's much upside to be had in Semenyo than Iwobi. I don't know who to start out, Sanchez and Fabianski, chat. By the way, captaincy poll, I'm going to end it now because I'm going to ask you another question. Palmer with 45, Saka with 33%, Haaland with 12, other with 11. I didn't expect Saka to be that high. We're going to basically gain nothing from Saka unless you captain him. Right, new poll coming. I need your help. Who would you start? Who would you start? What was the question? Oh, Sanchez. I'm going to ask for your help with the benching decision, chat. I kind of want to start Leif Davis. I do this in every stream. Every stream, I'm like, I'm going to bench Leif Davis. And then it gets closer to the deadline. I'm like, I want to start Leif Davis. I love him. I do love him. But I think all logic tells me Leif Davis is the one to bench this week. Because like Lewis is playing for a better defence. I think a clean sheet's possible. Maybe 8 Nuri. I strongly disagree with Sanchez over Fabianski and Davis over 8 Nuri. What's your thoughts about this dilemma? Yeah, strongly disagrees. I think it's interesting because I think there's merits to both. But I agree. I could literally switch those two around. Ross loves Davis more than Davis loves himself. Someone's got to love him. No one else does.
I think you've got it right. I think you should start Sanchez and I think you should start Davis.
I'm not starting Davis at the moment. I've got 8 Nuri at the moment.
Oh, okay. Well, I think you should start Davis.
But the thing is, if I bench 8 Nuri, it makes me more likely to want to start Fabianski because I've got less Wolves assets. Jackson or Isak? I would prefer Isak personally. Got Mateta, love you, Egg. I love you too. I'm very biased. I love Isak, but other people would probably suggest you get Jackson. I still have one free transfer. Would you go Timber or Gabriel for Robinson? I probably wouldn't take a risk this week and I just go Timber because we just don't know if Gabriel's fit. His mum loves him. I love Leif Davis more than his mum loves him. Just putting it out there. Back the home games, Ross. Yeah, that is. I'm looking at Wolves at home and Bournemouth at home for Fabianski and Leif Davis. Do you know what? Should I do it? Should I do it, chat?
I really don't agree with the goalkeeper one, but I think you should start Davis.
Leif Davis to the starting 11. I swear, like genuinely swear, I didn't have plans on putting Leif Davis in the starting 11, but he speaks to me. Let's just look at his face. What a wonderful man. Now, how many points has Leif Davis got me? Not many, but we live in hope that 10-pointer can be repeated. I'm sorry. Do you know what? We're going to have a moment here about Leif Davis. Let me read out Leif Davis's expected goal involvement since game week 5. 0.25, 0.52, 0.34, 0.23, 0.32, 0.31. The man is insane. 0.19, 0.29, 0.37, and 0.28. His lowest XGI since game week 5 is 0.19 against Spurs away. He's more attacking than like Morgan Rogers. It's insane. I'm starting Leif Davis. The thing is, right, 8 Nuri's got decent attacking threat as well. But if you look since game week 8, 0.00, 0.07, 0.09, 0.0, 0.17, 0.01, 0.08, and then 0.06. Leif Davis is the GOAT. That's what we do. I would love Manchester United to sign Leif Davis. Can you imagine him at left wing back in Amorim's system? Surely we're looking at that. That's not like. By the way, remove the jokes about how much I love Leif Davis. He is perfect for that system. Surely we're interested in Leif Davis. It might be a little bit expensive to get him, but maybe we wait until the end of the season, and if Ipswich do get relegated, it'll be available probably for like 20 to 30 million. You'd imagine. I love him. I really do. Luca Dean is my Davis. Always try to get him in the 11. Like, it's nice to have players that you love. Davis over 8 Nuri seems reasonable. Home fixture, and they haven't conceded more than 1 goal in the past 5 matches. I knew I'd felt unlucky with Leif Davis conceding recently, if I didn't know that. Oh, well, you're right. 1 against Leicester, 1 against Spurs, 1 against United, 1 against Forest, and 1 against Palace. I should have had more Leif Davis points recently. Any news on Danny Welbeck? Should I take a -4? For Welbeck to Eva Nilsson and Robinson/8 Nuri for a cheaper defender. The only news on Welbeck is that he's going to have a late fitness test, but they play tomorrow, so we're not going to get news on Danny Welbeck. I probably wouldn't sell Welbeck as a result, because if he's fit and available, he's a great option. And even if not after that, he then should go back to starting, and I still think Welbeck is arguably as good as someone like Eva Nilsson. So probably not. Atanas says, could you do a quick wildcard draft? I'm not going to do a wildcard draft because not many people are wildcarding. It takes a long time. But it would be very, very, very similar to my team, bar the defence would be very different, and I wouldn't have Brian Mbeumo. So I'd probably have someone like Gordon instead of Mbeumo, and then outside of that, it would just be my defence. I probably wouldn't have Davis, Lewis, 8 Nuri, or Vandenberg. I'd have like Gabriel, Timber, Lewis, Hall, Kirkes, something like that. But largely, it would be a very similar team to mine. 1 free transfer, Wood and Mbeumo to Isaac and Matoma -4. Or Wood to Eva Nilsson. I probably prefer Wood to Eva Nilsson. I don't know. I'll take a -4 there for that set transfers. %55% of you are saying start Fabianski. 45% are saying start Sanchez. The thing is, I think both teams score. So who makes more saves? And let me check Rob T's graphic here. This is sometimes quite useful for me to make decisions. Rob T FPL. Where is the graphic? This one here. Chances of clean sheets this week. So Chelsea have an 18% chance. West Ham have a 27% chance. See, that tells me to start Fabianski and bench Sanchez. 27% versus 18. It's quite a high percentage chance for West Ham there. Do I see West Ham keeping Wolves out? It's possible. It is possible. But do I see Chelsea keeping Spurs out? That's also possible. Oh, That's a really tough one, isn't it? I don't know. I'll go back to answering your questions. I'm not sure. Oh, I didn't actually. Do you know what I should check as well? Let me go back. I'll check Leif Davis versus 8 Nuri. So 8 Nuri's got a 15% chance. Leif Davis has a 17% chance. So marginally in favour of Leif Davis. Yeah, do you know what? Right. That's one decision made. I'm going to start Leif Davis. Next decision is then do I start Sanchez or Fabianski? And I'll go back and forth on that one, I'm sure. Would you recommend owning both Jackson and Isak with 3 premium midfielders? It probably means that you've got 2 really cheap defenders, right? With like Rodgers and Ahmad or something, which I don't love, but I do like the idea of Isak and Jackson. So maybe that's something that I'll do, start to transition towards a slightly more expensive attack. I suppose Cunha to Jackson is possible in a few weeks if I can free up some funds. But it probably means no 8 Nuri. I've probably got to choose, but probably means no Trent. Yeah, I know 8 Nuri's probably going to haul now, isn't he? On my bench. Bench 2 of Hall, Van Hecke or 8 Nuri. I'd start Lewis Hall from those options, I think. When will Liverpool play, then? Will it be another game week? Yeah, I think game week 25, 33 looks possible. It won't be for a little while yet. This guy came into the stream with no intention of starting Leif Davis and ended up doing it. So a great love affair. If Leif Davis scores 10 plus points this week, I'll buy a Leif Davis Ipswich top. How about that? Hey Ross, can you please rate this team? Of course. Flecken, Gvardiol, 8 Nuri, Gabriel, Sakasala, Palmer Rodgers, Cunha, Isak, João Pedro. I mean, it's very similar to my team. Same front 3, same midfield 4. No, it's not. What's the difference? Oh, you've got Salah there. Who comes on for Salah? Depends who comes on for Salah. And then the defence, Flecken, Gvardiol, 8 Nuri, Gabriel. I'd give it a 9 out of 10, VJ. Very nice team. Just make sure that you've got, obviously, someone coming on for Salah. Gordon versus Kudus +4 is killing me. I don't know what to do. Gordon's the better asset. Is he 4 points better than Kudus? I don't know. I'd still probably say Gordon. Is Ross playing Davis or is Davis playing Ross? Probably the latter. Will Greaves start? I think so. Do you think Rico Lewis starts? I do. Let me show you Luke's post. When did he post? Was it on Blue Sky? Might have been on Blue Sky, you know. Let me go onto Blue Sky and see if that was where it was. I find it really difficult to find people, though, on... Oh, there you go. I found him straight away. I say that. Okay, here we go. It was on Blue Sky. So, by the way, if you don't follow me on Blue Sky, my handle is at fplraptor.com. Some people won't like Blue Sky. I'm not getting into a debate about whether you like it or whether you want to be on there. If you don't, just don't say anything. But that is my Blue Sky account if you want to go follow me over on there. If you're wondering what it is, it's basically just Twitter, but created by the ex-founder and CEO of Twitter, I believe, in the same team. It's basically just Twitter. Sorry, what was I doing? Luke's post. This will give us a bit of information about Rico Lewis. He seems to be pretty confident in a Rico Lewis start. Man City predicted lineup. Should I zoom in a little bit? After the good performance versus Forest, this week feels somewhat easier. However, City have picked up some injury doubts and face Juventus 4 days later, so there should be some changes. Do we want to read through the whole thing? I think we just want the Rico Lewis stuff. At the back, City are now limited in options thanks to losing Ake. I did say playing him 3 games in 9 days was a bit risky, Pep. Potentially losing Akanji. However, with Pep not fully ruling Akanji out, it annoyingly does cast some doubt on the setup. If we assume he won't be risked, then the back four is almost certain to be Lewis, left back into midfield, then Gvardiol, Diaz, Walker back 3. If Akanji is fit/risked, then we could see him come in for Walker, or more likely for Lewis, resulting in Gvardiol doing the roaming instead, as that worked so well versus Forest. This is his predicted lineup. So, it is dependent upon Akanji's fitness. If Akanji is fully fit and ready to go and they play him, it's either instead of Walker, or if he wants to play Walker again, Lewis doesn't play. Or he plays out and out in midfield, which seems unlikely. He's predicting a Lewis start. I think a Lewis start is more likely than not. But do I think that it's nailed on? Absolutely not. So, obviously, take that with a pinch of salt. Hopefully that helps, though. When will the mystery chip be available? I've got no idea at this stage. Five free transfers. Oh, 1 week punt. Salah out to who or play Rodgers? I just play Rodgers. Even with 5 free transfers, it's not just the transfers. Like, you're losing a lot of money because unless you just bought Salah, you've probably got money tied up in him. He's gone up quite a few times. Mbeumo to Semenyo or roll? I'd roll, I think. I don't know that Semenyo is that much of a better option than Mbeumo that I'd want to make the move this week. The only reason I would want to do Mbeumo to Semenyo is to fund another move. Carr says, I have Trent, Gabriel, and Nedelj. Is that Nedeljkovic? Still own him. 3 defenders that won't play. Gabriel could. Would need a -8 to get Nedeljkovic up to Timber. Otherwise, defenders are Hall and Kirkers. I think Hall and Kirkers are fantastic. If you're saying you've already... Oh, your other defenders are Hall and Kirkers. I'd probably risk it. I'd probably just play Hall, Kirkers, and Gabriel and just hope, fingers crossed, that Gabriel plays. And if not, you're down to 10 men. I'm not sure it's worth a -8 to upgrade Nedeljkovic when you might not even need him because you might have Gabriel. Chelskiman says, defense is shot. Ryan 8 Nuri, Hall, Vandenberg, Fass, and Keane. God, that is a very cheap defense. Is Gabriel worth the risk, or are there other defenders I should bring in? 1 free transfer, 3 million in the bank. I would be tempted this week to do something like Fass, Keane, or Vandenberg to Timber, and then the week after you can look to bring in Gabriel. Because then your back line is Ryan 8 Nuri, Hall, and Timber, which is fine. So I would do Keane to Timber. And I would leave it there. Matt says, Mbeumo to Semenyo and Lewis to Trent next game week. Yeah, I may well do exactly that set of moves next game week. Exactly that set of moves myself. Keep Mbeumo and transfer Jackson to Isak for free, or keep Jackson and transfer Mbeumo to Semenyo. I would say neither. But if you're going to do one, I would do Mbeumo to Semenyo. I don't see why you'd want to sell Jackson for Isak. Am I very happy that I have Isak? Yes. But at the same time, I'm not necessarily that convinced that Isak is that much better than Jackson, especially with the issues that Spurs have at the moment. I think it's actually probably fairly close, to be honest. Start Fabianski or Flecken? I'd probably start Fabianski. Sorry, guys, I'm just resetting my camera. Do bear with. Is KDB worth the punt this week? I don't know that he's high up. His upside is that high that I would take the punt. He's very expensive. But then again, I would expect him to start. Did Luke have him starting there? Let me just check. Yeah, he does have him starting. I'd be tempted. I would be tempted. Captain Saka or Palmer? I prefer Palmer, but I think it's very, very close, and I have no issue with Saka. Just make sure, like I said, that your vice-captain is not playing in the same game as your captain. So don't like captain and vice-captain Palmer and Jackson. Don't captain and vice-captain Saka and Havertz or something like that. Just make sure that they're playing in different games. Or, like, I've seen one person on Twitter had, like, Bowen and Cunha as their captain and vice-captain. It's just too risky. It's not worth the risk. Because if that game gets postponed, you've got no captain. Isak, Cunha, Pedro, or Isak, Jackson, Pedro? So the question is Cunha or Jackson, right? I'd probably prefer Jackson at the moment to Cunha. Wolves are a bit unpredictable. Cunha struggled in the last couple of games. Yeah, I'd probably prefer Jackson. Is Bruno good captain differential? I just think Manchester United are too unpredictable and Forest are a decent defence. Ross, do you love Leif Davis more than your missus? That's a really stupid question. Of course I do. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Okay. Nah, it's not rude. I'm sorry. Can you do the things that Leif Davis can with his left foot?
I'm left-footed.
She actually is left-footed, so maybe. Why is this not tight enough? All right, there we go. Only have 5.4 million to spend, Enzo or Ahmad. I actually marginally prefer Enzo, but maybe that's negative Manchester United bias. Maybe the one to go for is Ahmad. I did that one. Ross, do I start 8 Nuri or Colwill? I'd have 8 Nuri ahead of Colwill, probably. Free hit or wildcard? If you've still got your wildcard, I prefer that, but just make sure that Salah is still on your wildcard. Look at Villa's most recent tweet.
Yeah, I saw that.
Let me have a look now. Villa. It's probably a picture with Rodgers on the the poster or something, which, by the way, means nothing, but... Or buen dia on the poster or something. Oh, here we go. We want to advise all supporters to allow extra time to travel for today's game due to poor weather conditions across the country. Please take extra care and stay safe. We look forward to seeing you at the game. Yeah, I mean, Liverpool did tweet that and then the game cancelled, but I don't think... Like, again, I'm an hour from Birmingham. I'm in the Midlands right now. It's windy. There's rain, but there's not enough for me to suggest that the game's going to be called off. I really do think that the only game that will be postponed is the Liverpool-Everton one. Izzy Gaming says, here's an early Christmas £10 from me and my girlfriend. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Get a cheeky Mackey's breakfast for you and Pickle. Do you know what? I was going to suggest the Mackey's. It might not be a breakfast by the time it comes, but it will be a Mackey's. I actually really do appreciate that. Your videos bring me a lot of joy. Would send more, but NHS wages and Captain Davis. Thank you so much. You don't have to give me any of your wages, but I do appreciate it. And what super chat would I need to Captain Davis? I'm not going to do this because some crazy person out there would probably do it. No, I'm not going to even suggest it. I will not be Captain Davis, but I do love him very much. And thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. Sorry if my stream's a little bit laggy. I just got that dreaded notification, which says viewers will be experiencing buffering, which is lovely. Stream died for a bit. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, it's going really bad, isn't it? We'll see. We'll see how it gets on. Best 4.5 defenders to bring in this week. I think Kirkes and Hall are the two that I'd go for. Jackson or Haaland to captain. I'd probably captain Haaland ahead of Jackson myself. Mbeumo to either Kudus, Matoma, Semenyo. Who's best? I quite like the idea of Kudus, but I think I'd have Matoma and Semenyo ahead of him. Just for security of minutes long term. So I'd probably go Matoma, Semenyo, Kudus. Justin says, 2 free transfers. I have Flecken / Fabianski. Is it worth moving to Raya for a luxury move? I don't mind it with the 2 free transfers as long as it doesn't require a downgrade elsewhere. If it requires you to make 2 transfers to do it, no, Justin. Probably not. But yeah, Flecken to Raya does obviously feel like a massive upgrade. Anyarag says, Ross, my bench is Greaves, Salah, Mikalenko with Colwill, Gabriel, Lewis and João Pedro starting. I have 0.2 in the bank. Any transfers I should make? I mean, you could sell Mikalenko for Lewis Hall or Kirkes this week if it's for free. So if you have a free transfer, I'd probably bin off Mikalenko now because it's not just that the game's been postponed. If they've got a pretty rubbish run of fixtures anyway. So yeah, I would probably get that move done. If it's for a hit, I might leave it. If you're one of the 6,500 watching, by the way, that is not yet subscribed, can I please ask you to consider subscribing? I am only 70 subscribers away from 140,000. There are 100% 70 people watching that aren't subscribed. If you are watching right now and you're not subscribed, please consider doing it. I didn't think I'd hit 140,000 that quickly, but I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Do you think Gordon is worth 0.7 over Matoma? I think he is probably worth exactly 0.7 over Matoma. Like, I basically think Matoma is a better asset. No, I think Gordon is a better asset. I think he's worth just about that money, but Matoma is also a very good value option. If I had the money for Gordon over Matoma, I would probably go there. But not if it blocks future moves. And this is the thing that I can't consider when you're asking these questions. If it blocks you from getting Trent or Van Dijk in the future, then I'd probably prefer Matoma and Trent than I would to like Gvardiol and Gordon, for example. MN Chuck says, hi Ross, if Gabriel doesn't play, would you have Greaves or Aina as first bench? Greaves at home, but Aina plays for the better defence. Have a good weekend. I'd probably have Ola Aina ahead of Greaves because I don't think Manchester United have fully clicked under Amorim. Like, we're seeing really good signs, but I kind of fancy Nottingham Forest to keep the scoring down this week. So I would probably have Aina ahead of Greaves. And have a good weekend too. Thank you for the super chat as always. Ewan says, hi Ross, start Aina or Vandenberg? Oh, I'd start Ola Aina again for similar reasons to what I just said there. Or use a free transfer to change Mikalenko. Also have Gabriel 1.4 in the bank. Do you know what? If I was starting Aina or Vandenberg this week and I had 1.4 in the bank, I think Mikalenko to Timber would happen for me. If you can't afford Timber, maybe just go for Lewis Hall or Kirkes. But yeah, in that situation, Ewan, I'd probably sell Mikalenko. Aditya says, Strand and Mbeumo to Jackson and Semenyo with 1 free transfer already have Isak. Would I sell Strand last and Mbeumo for a hit for Jackson and Semenyo? I probably wouldn't do that, no. But I don't mind it at the same time, but I wouldn't do it. Veer says, please rank my captain choices. Bruno, Palmer, Watkins. Palmer, Watkins, Bruno in that order. Mr. Meerkat Monster says, I planned to do Konate to Trent and Mbermo to Iwobi. Should I just roll now? Have Vandenberg on the bench. You'd planned to do Konate to Trent and Mbermo to Iwobi. Should I just roll? Yeah, I was in a very similar position. I was going to do Mbermo and Leif Davis, probably, to Semenyo and Trent, I think was the planned transfers. But now there's no need to do it for me, I think, at the moment. What if you don't have any money tied up in Salah? You only care about winning your mini-league. Who would be your 1 week punt? Probably Kevin De Bruyne. I'd probably take a 1 week punt on Kevin De Bruyne. But still, even if I didn't have money tied up, I still probably wouldn't do it. Because you're still then using 2 transfers to sell Salah and buy Salah straight back. Monks says Jackson for Wood for exact money or Isak next week. I'd be very tempted to do that this week. I think Jackson is equally as good as Isak. I slightly prefer Isak because Isak's not on 4 yellow cards and he has penalties. But Jackson is great. Jackson is great. Did we hit it? No, we're 13 subscribers away from 140,000. There are definitely 13 of you watching that haven't subscribed. Haaland, Saka, Pedro, Strand Larsen, Rogers, Semenyo, Palmer. Who is the best captain? I would captain Haaland, Adam, and then after that, I think it's probably Palmer or Saka. But I would go Haaland if I owned Haaland. Aina to Kirkes for a free transfer or roll to 3 transfers for another week. Aina to Kirkes. I think Aina to Kirkes if you've got 2 free transfers already, GA. I'd get that done. I just think Kirkes moving forward is a player that you will want to play most weeks. Aina with these fixtures, as good as Forest have been, there's always that I just don't really want to play him with the fixtures that they've got. Yes, we hit 140,000. Thank you so much, chat. That was my goal for the end of 2024. So we have hit it with 24 days to spare. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's great news. Thank you, chat. I appreciate it. And thank you for subscribing. Lots of content every single week. Hopefully you will not regret it. Would you do a -4 Bruno and Rao to Isak and Semenyo? Oh, Bruno and Rao Jimenez to Isak and Semenyo for a -4. I love Isak. I like Semenyo. Rao's not got the best fixture. I would do that, yes, Chris. Just about. I don't love selling Bruno for a hit, though. Flexbox says, with Salah blank and Gabriel yellow, I have DCL, Mikalenko and Greaves on the bench with 1 free transfer. DCL to Even Ilson and hope Gabriel starts or take a -4 for cover. I'd be very tempted to do DCL to Even Ilson and hope that Gabriel starts. But at the same time, playing 10 men isn't nice. Maybe you could do Mikalenko to Lewis Hall or Kirkes. Maybe that is worth the -4. That's a tough one. I don't hate the idea there. Blizzard 202 says Wheatley, Bruno, Fabianski, Mazraoui for Isak, Ahmad, Lumley, Kirkes for a -4. Benching VVD and Salah already have Palmer, Saka, Jackson. I'm very confused here. So you're selling Wheatley, Bruno, Fabianski, and Mazraoui for Isak, Ahmad, Lumley, Kirkes. Why are you selling Fabianski for Lumley? Is Lumley like 3.9 and you need the funds or something? Otherwise, I don't mind Wheatley, Bruno, and Mazraoui to Isak, Ahmad, and Kirkes, but if you... Let me check. Otherwise, I'm not really sure why you're making that move, unless Lumley's like 3.9. And you... Has the FPL site crashed, or is my internet broken? Oh my god, I've got a server error from the FPL site. Has anyone else's FPL site crashed? Let me look at the chat. Has the FPL site crashed for you, chat? Let me know on your end. I'm getting a 502 error, but my internet's still saying it's running. FPL's down, FPL down. Oh dear. Oh, some other people are saying no. No, it's fine. Let me try again. Oh, okay, it's working now. It was momentarily down. I got the error message, which it says when the servers are like overloaded. To be fair, with the news, I do think the servers could get overloaded today. Sorry, what was I checking? I was checking Lumley, wasn't I, to see if... Lumley's 4 million. Fabianski's 4.1. But you wouldn't have any money tied up. No, so just don't do the Lumley move, basically. Hopefully that helps. Your internet. No, my internet was stable throughout that. It was genuinely down. I think it's down for some people. Yeah, I got a 502 message. It's crashed. It's crashing for some people and not for others. I would be very tempted to get your transfers made ASAP, chat. Based on viewers, based on what I'm seeing from the site, I think the traffic is very high on the site today. I would be very, very tempted to get your transfers made if you're going to make them. I don't know that I'd wait until the last minute today. We're probably not going to get early team news, are we? Wood to João Pedro or roll? I would be very tempted to do that if it's for free, yeah. Matt says, good morning, Ross. Bench 1 of Kirkes, Gabriel, 8 Nuri or Hall. I'd probably bench 8 Nuri out of those options if I had to. Who to captain, Saka or Palmer? I'd say just about Palmer, but I think they're both great. 6.3 for a striker. Who do you think, João Pedro? I think if you're looking for a cheap forward, it's João Pedro or Eva Nilsson. I really do like Eva Nilsson still as well. Pick 1. Would Eva Nilsson Smith Rowe? Eva Nilsson? Oh. Pick 1. Would Eva Nilsson Smith Rowe? Gordon, Mikalenko, Timber? I'm a bit confused what your question is. Oh, I see. Wood or Eva Nilsson? I'd go Eva Nilsson. Smith Rowe or Gordon? I'd go Gordon. And Mikalenko or Timber? I'd go Timber. I don't know if that's your question, but that's what I would prefer. Hey, Ross, already transferred in Trent this week. That's tough. Defence is now Raya, Lewis, 8 Nuri, Davis, Vandenberg. Should I bring in Timber for a -4 or start 8 Nuri, Davis, Lewis? I think you're absolutely fine with that back three. I'd keep it Gamer 007. I think that's an absolutely fine defence. Carl says, hi Ross, mate. Hope you're well. Can you rate this? No worries, Carl. Sanchez, 8 Nuri, Gabriel Greaves, Ahmad Palmer, Saka Rogers, Cunha, Hoyland, Watkins. Thinking of a free hit. It's not the perfect team this week, but you don't need a free hit there. You really don't need a free hit. I would say my only concern is I don't love Hoyland this week if he doesn't start, but there is a chance he does. Ahmad should start, so he's fine. Greaves, not ideal this week, but not awful. It's not a great team, Carl, but it's also not bad. And I don't think it's free hit worthy, personally. I don't mind the punt on Watkins captain either. Bob says, do I do Mikalenko and then Burmo to Timber and Matoma for a -4 or do nothing? Start Gabriel and Lewis, Mikalenko as backup. I can't get Timber without selling in Burmo. I'd probably leave it, Bob. I think Gabriel will play, and regardless, I'm just not sure that's worth a -4 in your situation. So I'd probably leave it. I'd probably leave it there. AJ says, hey Ross, bench one of Wood, Semenyo and Rogers. I would probably bench Chris Wood there. Polkit says, hi Ross, congrats on the 140k. Thank you very much. Mikalenko and Burmo to Timber Matoma and double up on the Arsenal defence with Gabriel, or Mikalenko to Kirkes and roll one free transfer. I would probably do the double transfer this week Polkit, because I just think Mikalenko's got to go, and Burmo downgrade to a 4 Timber's great. I would go for Timber and Matoma in your position. Semenyo an 8 million attacker for free, or Isak / Colwill / Semenyo for a -4. I'd probably take the -4. I'd want to get Isak or Jackson in, and they're both above 8 million now, aren't they? So yeah, I'd probably go Isak, Colwill, Semenyo for a -4 Mystic. Bramjot says Strand Larsen for Vardy for a hit as the 8th attacker. Probably not. I wouldn't take a hit for Strand Larsen. I would just keep Vardy. Josh Lane, welcome to the Rap Tier 1 family. Thank you very much for becoming a member. I do appreciate it. Welcome. Ishan says, start out of Gabriel Greaves, Ryan 8 Nuri, Kirkes, Hall. I would bench Greaves and 8 Nuri, and I would start Gabriel, Kirkes, and Hall. I would have 8 Nuri ahead of Greaves on the bench. Hi, Ross. Would you do Wissa to João Pedro? Cheers. If it was for free, I wouldn't mind it. I definitely wouldn't take a hit for it. Pickford replacements don't have Fabianski, 5.2 million in the bank. I would go for Bruggen, then Sanchez, then Fabianski, and then maybe just save the money after that. But West Ham are just so bad defensively, aren't they? Bench Cunha or Rogers? I'd bench Rogers and start Cunha. Keep or sell Gvardiol to Timber? I would keep Gvardiol, absolutely. Joseph Stack with the super chat says, good morning, big man. Hope yourself and Pickle are okay. Thank you very much. We are doing well. Verbruggen, Gabriel, Gvardiol, Luca Dean, Saka Palmer, Roger Semenyo, Jackson, Cunha, João Pedro. Ryan 8 Nuri first off the bench. Had to bench Salah / Van Dijk. Sad times. It's a very nice team. Ryan 8 Nuri first off the bench. Had to bench Salah, Van Dijk. I mean, to be able to put out that team with Salah and Van Dijk on the bench, you're absolutely killing it, Joseph. Sounds like you're having a very good season. Very, very nice team. Currently have Gvardiol, Gabriel, 8 Nuri. Would you play all three or sell Mikalenko to Timber, Dallo, Luca Dean? I'd just start Gvardiol, Gabriel, and 8 Nuri, to be honest. That's a great setup. Please rank Lewis, 8 Nuri, and Lewis Hall. Rico Lewis, Lewis Hall, 8 Nuri, in that order. FPL website just said unavailable to do my transfer. The website is crashing repeatedly. Yeah, I'm getting error messages still on my end as well. If you're not, then great. What I would say as a suggestion, chat, with 24 minutes left, even if you've not got the FPL app downloaded, download the FPL app, Sometimes the app crashes and the website's fine, but often when the website crashes, you can still access the app. Like if I check the app now, it often works absolutely fine. Is my app still working okay? To be fair, my app's not updating correctly. Yeah, do you know what? Maybe the app's not working particularly well, but I would have both at the ready, just in case you need to make a last-minute change. Do you think Luka Dean will start? I don't know. A lot of people are suggesting, yeah, but people are saying the app's fine. Wait, let me close the app down and reload it. Pick team. Okay, now it's updated. It was saying that Salah still had a fixture. That's what I was a bit confused by. Right, there we go. To be fair, I might as well screenshot my team whilst I'm here. Done. Thoughts on Madueke? I think he's great. I think he'll start most games, but he's going to be benched enough that it might get a little bit annoying. Best defender to get 6.3 million budget. Probably Yuri and Timber, if not Gabriel, if you want to take a risk. Watkins or Isak? I would go Isak. Is the Villa game postponed? No, the Villa game is going ahead as things stand. I would imagine that it will as well. If you're unfamiliar with UK geography, Villa's nowhere near Liverpool, and the area of the world that it's in, it's the Midlands, so it's not particularly coastal. I wouldn't imagine, like, it looks like the west of the UK, and obviously Wales and Liverpool are getting hit a lot harder. So I wouldn't expect the Aston Villa game to be called off personally. Who's the best asset overall, Cliver or Semenyo? I think Semenyo still. Blizzard says, revised, couldn't do without Lumley, but how about Wheatley, Bruno, 8 Nuri, for Kirkes, Ahmad, Isak, no hits? That's a much better set of transfers, Blizzard. Yeah, I like that a lot. I would do that. Sell Solanke for Even Ilson or hold till Southampton game? I'd honestly I'd sell Solanke. He doesn't do anything. And he will score goals. Like we saw it against Aston Villa. He has that ability, but he's eating up so much of your funds. I really, really like... what's the name I'm looking for? I just blanked then. Even Ilson. There we go. Cap says, took a -8, my first hit this season. However, I now have 3 players not playing. Feel like I should free hit to recover. What are you saying? I'd need to see the entire team, Cap, but largely I probably wouldn't recommend free hitting unless you really have to. That being said, if you've taken a -8 and you might not get 11, then potentially. But if you've got 3 players not playing, then you should still have 11, right, technically? So I'd probably still try and keep the free hit. Rami says, play 8 Nuri or Hall. I'd play Lewis Hall. And Mbermo or Semenyo. Oh, that's so tough. I probably would play Semenyo ahead of Mbermo. And bring in João Pedro for Welbeck, or will Welbeck play? I'd keep Welbeck, but I don't know if Welbeck will play. Apparently, Welbeck's going to have a fitness test today to see if he's available for tomorrow. Would you captain Haaland or Palmer? I'd go Palmer ahead of Haaland. No, I wouldn't. I meant the opposite, sorry. I'd go Haaland ahead of Palmer. I would rate the captaincy options this week. Haaland, Palmer. And then after that, I think Saka, Isak, Watkins are already good options. But I would have Haaland marginally ahead of Palmer myself. Mark says, hi Ross, enjoying the stream as always. Thank you very much, Mark. Would you do Garnacho to Rodgers for a hit? Garnacho to Rodgers for a hit? Yeah, I probably would. No. I don't think Garnacho starts, though. So yes, I might do it. Would you also do Solanke to Watkins for a -8? I wouldn't take a -8 to bring in Rodgers and Watkins, because the thing is, after the Southampton game, I don't love the fixtures for Watkins and Rodgers. So I would be tempted to do the Garnacho one, but probably not the Solanke one. Should I have Rodgers or Semenyo? If you're choosing one long-term, I prefer Semenyo to Rodgers. This week, I probably slightly prefer Rodgers to Semenyo. But yeah, I think Semenyo is a better asset to own. I think I want to captain Watkins over Palmer and Saka. What are your thoughts? I said this earlier. If Watkins plays 75 minutes plus, he's probably a better captain than Saka and Palmer. But I'm not confident enough. They've got Leipzig midweek. His minutes have been a bit hit and miss. Could Duran come on in the 60th minute if they're winning 1 or 2-0? Yes. I suppose your hope is that if he does get an early sub, that he's the one that scored the goals that makes it possible to give him that early sub. So I don't mind Watkins captain. The only reason that he's not higher for me is just I'm not confident enough on his minutes. Would you start Lewis Hall in a 4-3-3 or Smith Rowe in a 3-4-3? So Lewis Hall or Smith Rowe? I'd probably start Lewis Hall. I'm not confident Smith Rowe gets much in that game. Othman says, should I sell Mbermo and Ryan 8 Nuri for Gabriel and Matoma /Semenyo /Ahmad for a -4? And Burma and 8 Nuri for Gabriel, one of those. And Burma and 8 Nuri for Gabriel Matoma for a -4. If Gabriel was definitely fully fit, I'd say yes. There's enough doubt for me. I'd maybe just keep in Burma and 8 Nuri this week. So I'm going to say no. Doom Ball says, who to bring in this week, Isak or João Pedro? I'd go Isak ahead of João Pedro this week. I'll be bringing in the other one next week. I just think due to some slight minutes doubts, I would probably say Isak ahead of João Pedro. Love the other one. Sorry, yeah. Who's better with this week? If both play 90, you could argue João Pedro's better, but I would say Isak this week, João Pedro next week. Love the arena as always. What's the arena? Is that a stream? Is that a cipher for stream? If you're loving the stream, I appreciate it. Yeah, he just put stream. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that, Doomball. Dahlia has become a Rap Tier 1 member. Thank you very much, Dahlia. I appreciate it. Sorry if I butchered your name there, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Ascend with the super chat, but no message. I appreciate it regardless. Transferring Kirkes for Kanate and start him over 8 Nuri. I don't mind that if it's for free. Which two of the three should I start from Hall, 8 Nuri, Colwill? I'd bench Colwill. I don't know if to start Fabianski or Sanchez. I feel like in hindsight, I'm going to go, why did I not start Fabianski against Wolves at home? I feel like it's going to be a very hindsighty thing for me if I start Sanchez. But then at the same time, I'll be like, why didn't I just back the better defence in Chelsea? I think I just backed the better defence. I think that's what I'm going to do. And also, because I have Cunha, maybe I just back Cunha to score. You missed my super chat. Let me have a look. Asem says, should I do Captain Bruno Fernandes, Saka or Palmer? I would put them in the order of Palmer, then Saka, then Bruno. Will says, start which three of 8 Nuri, Kirkes, Luka Dean, Hall, Gabriel? I would bench 8 Nuri. Oh, that's tough. I'd bench 8 Nuri and Lewis Hall, and I'd start Kirkes, Luka Dean, and Gabriel. That's a very tough one, though, Will, but I'd go that way. Jackson captain. I don't mind Jackson captain. As I always say, if I think Jackson's a good captain, I think Palmer's a good captain. And I always would prefer to captain Palmer because he's got the penalty, he's got some set pieces, and I just feel like he has the ability to go much bigger than Jackson. Like, if you're telling me Jackson's involved in 2 or 3 goals in this game, it means Chelsea have gone pretty nuclear, and therefore I think Palmer's probably gone pretty big as well. But that being said, it is a game where I could see this suiting Jackson quite a lot. I really don't mind it, actually. 15 minutes until the deadline. If you want an update of what we've had this morning, there's not much. It's literally just that the Liverpool-Everton game is off and that the deadline remains at 11 a.m., which is at the time of you hearing my voice, it will be almost exactly 15 minutes. So you've got to make your moves in 15 minutes, but sadly, we will not have an early kickoff this week. Hi, Ross. You haven't butchered the name. No worries. That's good, Dahlia. Start 8 Nuri or Robinson. I have Saka, Cunha and Bowen in the attack. I would start 8 Nuri ahead of Robinson. Yeah, I'd start 8 Nuri. Captain Rogers. I don't know if I feel confident enough in a start, sadly. Do you think any other games will be called off? I don't think so. Why Salah first bench? You can put him wherever you want, to be fair. You can put him first, second, or third bench. He's not playing, so it doesn't matter. Does not matter. We've got a big boy super chat from Tafan. Check you out. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Says, assuming Spurs has one senior centre-back fit, horrible form, and Chelsea firing, Palmer captain makes the most sense. I think Romero will play. So apparently Romero is set to train yesterday. Assuming that he's fit and available, I think he'll play. I will just say that Archie Gray is not an awful player to fill in if they play in there. Udogi could play there. I agree. Spurs are on a horrible run of form. They've not got a very fit team. Chelsea are firing. I think it does point towards that Chelsea game being pretty comfortable for Chelsea. As a result, I agree, Tafe, and I would go for Palmer. And I do think Jackson is a fine captain as well. Thank you very much for the super chat. Start 8 Nuri or Porro. Oh, that's a tough one. That's a very tough one. I'd still go Porro, I think. Is this the final team, Rossi boy? Yeah, I think I'm just going to roll the transfer. Bit boring, I know, but it just means I don't have as much of a benching headache. I can start Mbeumo this week. Really, I didn't want to sell Mbeumo. I just wanted Trent. How will the wind affect the Dark Arts team? Oh my God, you said Dark Arts. We're doing a Harry Potter. We're doing the Harry Potter. We're doing the Harry Potter marathon at the moment. We've just watched Order of the Phoenix. Yeah, we did, didn't we? Are you listening to me?
What? No, I was listening to what
Oh my god, that's very awkward. My stream's just waiting. You were just not spoken. We just watched Order of the Phoenix, I think, and we've got Half-Blood Prince next.
Wait, what did you ask me?
Doesn't matter. I'm doing the stream. It's fine. It's all good. Hi, Ross. 8 Nuri or Lewis? Who to start? I would start Lewis ahead of 8 Nuri, I think. Well, that's what I'm doing in my team, so yeah, that's where I'd lean. I was just asking you what film we just watched. It was okay. 2 free transfers, Mbermo and Wissa to Semenyo and Isak or Roll. Did I answer this one, or is this a similar question? With the 2 free transfers, I don't mind it, to be honest. I wouldn't do it for a hit. Upgrade Harwood Bellis to Timber from the bench to cover Salah, or garbage striker to Eva Nilsson. Free transfer. I would say garbage striker to Eva Nilsson. That feels like a better upgrade right now. Rashford Cunha to Rogers Isak. I think Rashford starts, and I like Cunha this week, so I'd probably say no, but I do prefer Rogers and Isak. By the way, you've got just over 10 minutes until the deadline. If you're one of the 7,500 people watching that are not yet subscribed, please do consider subscribing. Weekly, I say weekly. This week we've had 3 deadline streams in the space of a week. Lots of content throughout the week as well. Make sure to subscribe. I do really appreciate it. Start Colwell or Lewis? I would start Lewis ahead of Colwell. Greaves or 8 Nuri? I would start 8 Nuri ahead of Greaves. Erdegaard to Saka and Solanke to Eva Nilsson for free. Yeah, I don't mind that, to be fair. I'd much rather have Saka than Erdegaard. I'd much rather Eva Nilsson than Solanke. Considering it's for free, Reece, get it done. Get it done. Yep, 11 minutes until the deadline. Make sure you're thinking about locking in your teams. If you've just joined, there are issues with the app and the website at the moment. They keep crashing and getting error messages. So I probably wouldn't wait any later than about 55. 10:55 would be about as late as I would wait in terms of making your moves. Sell Ryan 8 Nuri or Lewis? I'd probably sell Lewis ahead of 8 Nuri. But 8 Nuri's not been very good and his fixtures run out very soon. I just think the next 3 are really nice for 8 Nuri, especially after this, Ipswich and Leicester. I'd probably want to start him in those. Why start Davis and not Ryan 8 Nuri? We were talking about this. Ipswich have a slightly greater chance for a clean sheet. He's playing at home, and I just love Leif Davis. That's pretty much it. And he's been more attacking than 8 Nuri as well. Will the Villa game go ahead? I would imagine so, yes. But just make sure that you're not captaining and vice-captaining players from the Villa game. So if you want to captain Watkins, just make sure that you're vice-captaining someone like Saka or Palmer, I would say. How is no one talking about Watkins? It's just the doubt around his minutes, and that's pretty much it. And also, he's very expensive. Like, most people don't have Watkins, and therefore, they're not considering captaining him because they don't own him. Saka captain. Got no issues with Saka captain. I just think that actually Fulham aren't awful defensively. It's the only thing that would put me off. If you own Haaland, would you captain over Palmer? Yes, I would captain Haaland over Palmer. I would. Raul Jimenez to Eva Nilsson. Yeah, I've got no issue with that for free. Would I take a hit for it? I mean, if you're having to play Raul Jimenez this week, yeah, I'd still be tempted. Captain Isak. I've no issue with Captain Isak. I like it a lot. He's got my Vice armband at the moment. Why are you captaining Saka over Palmer? I'm not. I'm doing the opposite. I just think that Chelsea will score goals in this game. To be fair, Arsenal are probably going to score various goals against Fulham as well. Captain Isak or Palmer? I mean, I'm going Palmer, so I'll say Palmer. Any Man City leaks? I don't think so. We're going to get Man City leaks. It's too early. The only leaks we might get is about if players have or haven't travelled, but I don't think there's going to be any major surprises there. Is there any news on Gabriel? Nothing on Gabriel, sadly. I wish there was. I really wish there was. I only have Pickford. What should I do? I mean, Pickford's got really terrible fixtures coming up anyway. I'd probably use it as an opportunity to sell Pickford, honestly. I wouldn't normally say sell your goalkeeper. I'd say just play with 10. But from next week, the fixtures are so bad for Everton, I'd probably just sell Pickford. I'd go for Bruggen as well if you're going to sell Pickford. Is Haaland the best captain? Yep, I think so. Why is Salah on your bench? Because he's not playing. The Liverpool game has been cancelled. Your FPL screen is blurry. Please fix the quality. Is it, chat? Or is that guy's internet? Is my screen blurry? It shouldn't be. I mean, it might not be the best quality, but it's 720p. Shouldn't be too blurry. Yeah, I know. I feel like I shouldn't be saying this at this point because you probably should know. But if you don't, the Liverpool-Everton game has been postponed. And The deadline is still in 8 minutes. Screen is fine. Screen is fine. Not blurry. Just because it's 7:20. Okay, it's fine. Cool. Thank you very much. Just your head is blurry. I think it's your bald, not blurry. Play Flecken or Fabianski. Fabianski, I would. Thank you very much for letting me know, chat. I appreciate it. Bro's got an 8K TV. Probably expecting it to be like that 4K high def. My internet can't hold up with that, sadly. Are you not tempted to captain Isak over Palmer after the Liverpool game? I am. Don't tempt me. I just think Palmer's the slightly safer captain. But yeah, I am tempted. It's why he's got the vice. Don't tempt me, Kieran. That's terrible. Bowen or Watkins captain? I love you. I love you too. I would actually captain Watkins. Yeah, I'd go Watkins. Josh says bench 1 out of Dallo, Lewis Hall, and 8 Nuri. Ooh, that's very tough. I'd bench 8 Nuri there. Josh says, hi Ross, I hope you're well. How do I go about seeing the most transferred in player for every game week? Interested in seeing how often that player blanks or doesn't do as well as predicted. You do it on the FPL site. I can show you very briefly. So go to transfers. And then on these tabs in the top right. Oh, sorry, my computer's struggling here at the moment. Tabs in the top right where it says sorted by total points. There is one that says transfers in round in brackets. So transfers in round. And it will tell you. So Saliba's the most transferred in defender. Saka's the most transferred in midfielder, and João Pedro is the most transferred in forward. After that, it's Watkins and Isak. So yeah, you can do it on the official site. Right, just over 5 minutes until the deadline. Like I said, I probably wouldn't leave it particularly late to be making moves because apparently the website is crashing and people are getting error messages still. So I'd probably make your moves very, very soon. Top priority to own first. Gabriel, Trent, Isak, Jackson. Isak, then Jackson, then Gabriel, then Trent, I guess. The 2 forwards this week are obviously a priority because they've got higher upside. Tommy Beats says, start Henderson versus City or Flecken versus Newcastle. Thanks. Flecken. Captain Watkins over Palmer. I've got no issue with that at all. Yeah, no issue at all. Dennis said, yo, just woke up, panic. Should I change Haaland, Dibbling, Vandenberg to Saka, Isak, and defender like Gabriel? If I do this, our team looks the same almost. Don't want to change Haaland really. Time maybe. I mean, this week I'd probably just captain Haaland. I do agree that, right, if your team's a bit of a mess and you've got like Dibbling and Vandenberg and you need to rely on them this week, maybe selling Haaland is the right play. But I also really like the idea of captaining him. So I would only sell Haaland if you really need to. And if you do, yeah, I like Saka, Isak, and probably Timber. I don't know how to take a risk on Gabriel with the flag. Hi, Gvardiol to Konsa, Johnson to Rodgers, and Burmo to Saka 4-3. Gvardiol to Konsa, Johnson to Rodgers, and Burmo to Saka for free. That is so tough. I would say no. No, I wouldn't do that for free. I like Gvardiol. I like the idea of getting Saka in though. Oh, maybe. I'm going to say yes, Nick, actually. I've changed my mind. I want Saka. Saka captain. I think Saka captain is absolutely fine. I disrespect Saka every week with captaincy and he always smashes it. So yeah, I've got no issue with captaining Saka. Go for it. Would you do Wissa to Pedro for free? Yeah, for free, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind it for free. Starting Gabriel, Lewis, Hall, Greaves on the bench. Would you move for Timber or bank the free transfer? I'd bank the free transfer. That's an absolutely fine defence at the moment. 5 minutes until the deadline. I would start making your moves. Make your moves now. I would not wait much longer because the site is having issues. If you do want to wait and still ask questions, then of course, feel free. By the way, if you're one of the 7,600 people that are new here, I carry on streaming after the deadline. So when the deadline goes in 4 minutes, don't leave. I'll carry on streaming. We'll talk about different stuff. So make sure to stick around. Colwell or Lewis Hall? I would start Lewis Hall. And I'd bring in Lewis Hall probably ahead of Colwell as well. I had such a great game week midweek. I'm going to risk it and go for Captain Isak. I like it. Strand Larson or João Pedro? João Pedro. Is Rodgers not a good captaincy differential? I don't think I trust Rodgers with the armband. No penalties, no set pieces. His data's been pretty poor. He's a fine option, but he's not a captaincy option for me. I finally sold Haaland for Salah this week. That is unbelievably painful. I can only imagine. Isak or Saka? I think it's very close between the two of them for captaincy. Saka's probably more reliable. I probably prefer the fixture for Isak, so probably objectively Saka's a slightly better captaincy option than Isak, but I love Isak. Start 2 between Ryan, 8 Nuri, Dallo, Colwell, or Fass. I'd start 8 Nuri and Dallo, personally. How bad is Bruno for captaincy? He's not bad, but he's not in my top 5 captaincy options. Hi, Ross. Would you do Wissa and Burmo to Isaac Rogers? For free, yes. For a hit, no. Captain Jackson or Saka? I'd captain Saka ahead of Jackson. Mbermo out. I don't mind Mbermo out, but I'm not going to sell Mbermo. Is Pedro a good captaincy option? It's just the minutes that put me off, but he's not a bad captaincy option. Fabianski or Sanchez, please reply. I think I'm going to start Fabianski, but I'm sorry. I think I'm going to start Sanchez, but I'm going to regret it, I feel. Josh says, as in, is there any way to look at the most transferred in player, as in each of the last 14 game weeks? Should have been specified. Sorry, that's my bad. I actually don't know how to do that. Maybe message someone like Ragaboli from Live FPL. There's someone out there that probably has the data for that. Or maybe message FPL Focal. He often has the data for it. I don't have a way of getting that, I don't think. Yeah, sorry, I don't think so. But that would be interesting to see. There's probably someone out there that can scrape the data from the FPL site and get that. Sorry, Josh. Wissa for João Pedro. Again, for free, yes, I don't mind selling Wissa for João Pedro. Start 8 Nuri or Aina. I'd start Olorena. No, I'd start 8 Nuri ahead of Olorena. Greaves or Aina. I'd start Aina ahead of Greaves. Start Hall or 8 Nuri. I'd still start Lewis Hall in that position. Play Pinnock or Greaves. Probably Greaves. Watkins versus Palmer Cap. Palmer's just safer for minutes, I think, but Watkins has the better fixture. He might even be on pens as well. What do you think about buying Erdegaard? He's not my favourite option, but I really don't mind it. He's still good for minutes. Might take the odd penalty. Take some set pieces. Yeah, I don't mind Erdegaard. You can use Python. There we go. I don't know how to use Python, so I'm not going to use Python. But there we go. I know there's someone out there that could scrape the data for sure. What do you think of buying Erdegaard? I don't mind buying Erdegaard. Please, you can stop asking that question. The site is down. Site is down. Apps crashed. There we go. I did say don't wait. You got less than a minute till the deadline. I would honestly stop asking questions. Everyone's getting the same 502 error message. Make sure your team's locked in. Make sure you got your captaincy and vice captain sorted. Make sure your bench order you're happy with. And just rock with it. Captain Cunha or João Pedro? I'd probably go João Pedro ahead of Cunha. Even Ilson in for Wood? Yes, I don't mind it for free. Sells or Fabianski? That's very tough. I'd honestly start Sells, I think. Brought in Bowen and captain. Very nice. Good luck. Do I captain FPL Pickle or FPL Raptor? FPL Pickle. Isaac or Jackson? I prefer Isaac, but most other people will probably prefer Jackson. Right, that is it. I can hear the bell. By the time you hear my voice, the deadline will have passed. That is it. 11 a.m. What an insane deadline that was. By the way, like I said, don't leave because I'll carry on streaming for a little bit here. But if you are going to leave, please make sure you subscribe on the way out. I do really appreciate it. But yeah, I'd stick around. Ask some different questions. Talk about football, F1, food, films, whatever you want to talk about. We're here. There's a risk of Villa being postponed too. I don't think so. Unless I've missed a change in the weather. It doesn't look that bad in Birmingham, I don't think. Let me have a look. What time is the Villa game, by the way? Is it 3 p.m? Yeah, it's 3 p.m. I feel like they... Oh my God, my stream just completely crashed then. I feel like they probably would have cancelled it by now if the Villa game was going to be cancelled.
It is going to be windy.
How windy?
It's going to be 27 mile an hour.
Oof.
26 mile an hour gusts.
Look at that now. Feels like -7. 25 mile an hour wind, 50 mile an hour gust right now. And it looks like it might pick up a little bit.
I'm glad I'm not home then right now.
Yeah. Right. Let's do this, chat. Watching planes attempting to land. God, I hope they're all safe. Ross, do you think City is out of the title race? Yes. Sadly for them. Oh, I mean, not out of it. I mean, they could go on a crazy run, but they're going to have to do a lot. What is your take on the Verstappen and Russell beef in F1? I think a lot of what George Russell was saying is fair. I do think Max intimidates people. I think at points he has acted a bit like a bully. The issue that George Russell has is that he's just such a crybaby and he just whines constantly. Like, you know, there's a manner of... Like, if he'd have come out and said, do you know what? I don't think Max behaves in an acceptable manner. I think it's time that we all sort of stand up to him. It just sounds whingy. You know what I mean? And by the sounds of it, I don't know who you choose to believe, he's over-exaggerating a lot of what Max said. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a massive George Russell fan, and I actually think Max is quite funny a lot of the time. So I don't like the way George goes about his business. He's a bit of a snitch. He's a bit of a crybaby, you know. Why did you pick Sanchez over Fab? I need to tweet my team, don't I? I just backed the better defense, to be honest. Wanted to ask you on the midweek stream, but how is it that you became a Toronto Raptors fan? I'm a huge Cavaliers fan since we drafted LeBron. Honestly, during lockdown, I watched a lot of NBA, and I needed to pick a team, and that was it, basically. I know Drake is like a global ambassador for them. I'm a big Drake fan, and they had Freddie VanVleet, who I loved. Who else was there at the time? I'm blanking. I honestly don't watch enough NBA, but there was a few. Who is the English guy whose name has escaped my mind? They had an English guy. Oh my God, why have I forgot his name? I forgot his name. Someone else will tell me that's an NBA fan. Russell is a crybaby. What about Verstappen? I'm not going to get into this because there'll be Russell fanboys in the chat, but Russell is a bit of a crybaby, yeah.
Again, as you say that, but then Leclerc's the most crybaby person ever.
I don't think he is. OG, thank you. Thank you. I got there in the end. Yeah, OG. So there was just enough at that time. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to pick Toronto Raptors. Thank you, everyone. We got there in the end. Are you planning to do a Game Week 15 and 16 recap in one FPL therapy video? That would be too difficult. I think what I'm going to do is recap Game Week 16. And if there's anything that really stood out from 15, maybe I'll mention it as part of the recap. So basically, no, I'm not planning to recap both of them. Love to you and FPL Pickle. Have a great game week ahead. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Just found you. Love the deadline stream. Thanks. That is awesome. Do you know what? It still blows my mind that people are finding me for the first time. Not because I think I'm like massive or anything like that, but it's just like I've been going for so long now. I just assume that it's the same people tuning in every week. But it's nice that there are new people still finding the channel. I appreciate that. By the way, Joseph, thanks for another super chat. I would say good luck to the Cavaliers, but no. What was your Spotify Wrapped like? I can show you. I think I screenshotted it. Where was it? Wait, I thought... Oh, there it is. This is going to be really weird to some people. I'm not afraid to show you my weird taste in music, though. That's a really weird mix, by the way. If you're wondering who Ludovico Einaudi is, he's a pianist and composer. I quite like piano and classical music, so... That was my top 5 artists. That was my top song, which is just beautiful. If you're not listening, oh my God, the green screen's ruined that. I don't have to show you. Oh, you're not gonna be able to see that. 39 times. My top artist, as I said, was Ludovico Einaudi. Yeah. Fair play if you're doing an almost 2-hour therapy by yourself. Not sure I could talk for that long. Honestly, it's insane. I only had one break as well where I had to take some water because my throat went like crazy. But yeah, talking for almost 2 hours is wild, non-stop. Because like with the deadline stream, I can break for a little bit. I can read. And also, I'm largely answering your questions. With FPL therapy, it's just talk for an hour and a half. It's honestly quite difficult. So yeah, thanks, mate. I appreciate it. It wasn't easy. Reeve had that guy number 1. Reeve had Ludovico number 1. By the way, if you've not listened to Ludovico Einaudi, you are missing out. I do have a Stormzy song in the top 5, Cry No More. That was my top artist and top songs. By the way, I understand the irony that Drake is my second top artist and Not Like Us is my is my second. Drake's my top second artist and Not Like Us is my second most listened to song. It's just a banger. What can you say? What can you say? I love Drake, but that is a banger. I also love Kendrick. It's a shame, really, because I like Kendrick and Drake, but yeah. Kendrick or Drake? I think Drake makes better songs, and I think Kendrick is a better lyricist. Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that? There we go. I'll say that. Kendrick, the better lyricist. My computer on OBS, it says CPU and then it gives you a percentage. It should hopefully be around 10% usage. Mine at the moment is around 20%, which isn't particularly good. It just said minus 17,800. How is my computer at minus 17,800? Of course you're allowed to say it, but you're wrong. I don't think that's wrong. Get off the fence. I think Kendrick is better. Overall, I just have listened to Drake for most of since about 11, 12. So I am a bit of a Drake fanboy. I think Drake makes a lot of good songs. That was what I was trying to say. I think if you're looking at as a rap artist, Kendrick is better. I like a lot of Drake's. Someone just said mustard. That song completely took me out the first time. Opinions aren't allowed here. Anyway, let's move on. I'm a Southampton fan. Do you have any hope in us staying up? I'm really sorry, Ollie, but no. I think there's no hope for Southampton. The reason I say that is I think Ipswich are better and I think Leicester are better. Maybe not Leicester. Leicester have been pretty poor. But with Rude, I just think you're the worst of the 3 promoted teams. And so even if Ipswich and Leicester stay up, I just think you'll be one of the 3 that go down, sadly. I quite like Southampton as a team, as a club. I have no issue with Southampton, but I just can't see it. McLaren probably have the constructors in the bag now with the Leclerc 10 grid penalty. I would say for McLaren to lose the Constructors' Championship, one of Norris or Piastri have to DNF. And Ferrari have to have a good weekend. To be honest, if Norris crashes or DNFs, which I don't hope for him, by the way, then and Piastri has like a mid-weekend where he finishes like 6th or 7th, then yeah, it's absolutely feasible. FPL Pickle says, any Rock fans? And then my mum responds, yes, Pickle. It's just you and my mum. Yeah, Pickle is big into rock. Indie rock. I would say that's my sort of rock, but yeah, no, Pickle's into like hardcore rock.
I like rock and not metal so much. There's one band I like that's metal, but not really. Indie rock's good too. I like all of it, to be honest.
If you can't hear that because she's further away from the microphone than normal, Pickle's just yapping. No, she's just saying she loves rock. Bro, I actually love listening to you talk about anything. I appreciate that. I do talk about literally everything, don't I suppose? Pickle has great taste. There are a few people digging the taste. Norris P1 in quali. I do expect it to be Norris P1. Never count out Max. Never count out a banging lap from Leclerc. But yeah, I would. Do you know what? I'm going to say Leclerc on pole. I'm going to say Leclerc on pole. For no reason. Ross, pancakes or waffles? If it's like thick pancakes, I'm going to upset some people here. I'd say waffles. If it's thin pancakes, like more like crepes, I'd say pancakes. So, pancakes. No, crepes, waffles, pancakes. Does that make sense? Get my bald shiny head out because I've got an itch. What do you think United's best lineup looks like at the moment? Onana in goal. Dalot at left wing back. Luke Shaw, when he's fit at left centre back, probably Martinez. Delict at centre back. Yoro at... No. Do you know what? Mazraoui at left centre back. No. Yes. Mazraoui at left centre back. Yoro at right centre back. I would have Mainu and Ugarte as the midfielders. I would have Ahmad right wing back. Dalot left wing back. And then I would have my front 3 as Bruno, Rashford, and Hoyland. Xerxes been all right, though. Bro, please stay on for another 30 minutes. Your videos help me fall asleep, not in a bad way. I'll stay on the stream until Vihan's fallen asleep. Did Pickle like Linkin Park's
Yes.
From Zero? She loves it. She loves Linkin Park, yeah. She's obsessed. Not obsessed, but very, very big fan. To be fair, Linkin Park were a? Yeah, I would say that is the sort of rock music I'd happily listen to. So you're not playing Martinez. I find it difficult because I really think Yoro will be great at right centre-back. Can you drop Mazraoui, who's been really good as one of the wide centre-backs? I also fall asleep to the sound of the egg. Just put my stream on from the start. Just start the stream again. Or listen to FPL Therapy. That would help me a lot, to be honest. Go put on FPL Therapy. It's just me yapping for an hour and a half. Feels like a rank rising week for Haaland captainers. Oh, yeah. I mean, you'd be loving life. If you don't own Salah and you own Haaland, this is perfect. I came for football advice. You're in the wrong place now. Drop Dalot. Yeah, but who are you playing? There's no way in hell you're saying Malassi is a better left wing back. And then the alternative is you start Ahmad as left wing back and Mazraoui as right wing back. But we've not even seen Mazraoui in a wing back role. So I came for football. I stayed for F1 gossip. Gossip. Don't know why I had a massive lisp there. Rank all of the Harry Potter films you've ever seen so far, or all of them you've seen. I've seen all of them. We're on Half-Blood Prince right now. I do like Order of the Phoenix. I don't mind Chamber of Secrets, even though it gets like I don't know. I think they're all pretty similar, in all honesty. Goblet of Fire I thought was better than it was in memory. Like everyone loves Goblet of Fire. Don't know. What is your favourite? Yeah, see, like Goblet of Fire is best for me. Everyone says that. We literally watched it yesterday. What did you think, Pickle?
About what?
Were you a bit disappointed with Goblet of Fire upon memory?
I have always said it's my favourite film, but I don't think it is.
I think the Deathly Hallows are quite good, in all honesty. Maybe it's because they're older and their acting's better. Prisoner of Azkaban, yeah, that was good. That's what I used to say was my favourite, but then again, upon reflection, it wasn't. Philosopher's Stone is valid. You're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong, to be fair. Harry Potter is crap. It's just not, though, is it? I'm not saying it's like the best set of films ever, but no. FP says Goblet of Fire is so overrated. Low IQ answer to have that as your favourite. Oh, I need a game to enjoy a film. Hashtag brain rot. That's making me laugh. I get what you mean though. It's like it's the only one that's got some like game in it. It was good though. Whoa. The Dementors made an impression on my mind when I was a kid. I know they were scary when you were a kid. Dementors, weren't they? Are you a book reader? If so, try A Song of Ice and Fire. The thing is, I've watched Game of Thrones, so I feel like I would be a bit... I would have preferred to have read that before I watched Game of Thrones. Chat, would you rather watch Harry Potter or FPL Raptor? Order of the Phoenix is a close second, though. We watched Order of the Phoenix like late last night. We finished it at like 11:30. It was good. Yeah, actually, do you know what? I did enjoy it. I just don't enjoy the ending. I'm not going to say what the ending is in case you've not watched it, but I don't like the ending of Order of the Phoenix. It's very sad. What have you deleted? Oh, just spam. My moderator's in full force. That's one of the first times I've seen you delete a message.
I do sometimes.
Do you?
Yeah.
What's Haley sent here? Oh, my little nieces have been to see Santa.
Aww.
Father Christmas, whatever you want to call it.
I saw Santa for the first time the other day.
We need a pickle face reveal. We've had a pickle face reveal many a times.
Go on Twitter if you want to see me.
We've had many a pickle face reveals.
You can bring up the birthday photo if you want to.
The birthday one?
Yeah.
The one where I look horrid.
You don't look bad. What do you mean?
The one where I look absolutely dreadful. I was going to show them the two that we've uploaded to Twitter. Other than that.
Well, you show whatever you want.
That's pickle. It's going to be green, so you're not going to be able to see. That's pickle. That's one.
Why that's such a bad photo.
You don't mind that photo, you said.
It's not the best though.
That's pickle.
Show the nice one.
What do you mean the nice one? I don't even have that picture, I don't think, on my phone. It's that awful. I don't want to scroll through your... Oh, I might have the picture. One sec. I actually don't think I have that picture. Do you want to say... If you want to send it to me, I can show it. But FPL try Captain Bowen. Best of luck to him. I've benched Ain't Nuri, so I don't mind as well. Oh, I didn't tweet my team.
Oh. I was going to remind you to do that. And then
Absolutely outrageous. Pickle is actually Leaf Davis. Right. One sec. Game week... Okay, Pickle sent me the picture. I'll show you in a second. Game week... Is it 15 we're in? Game week 15 team. Palmer cap. 667k rank. Rolled the free transfer. So 3 free transfers for game week 16. Best of luck, everyone. Right. I've completely forgot to tweet my team. That was silly of me. I then need to put it on Blue Sky as well for people that aren't on Twitter anymore. Sorry, chat. It's the things you got to do, you know? I keep forgetting what game week we're in because there's been so many of them. I was going to say we've got the lineups now, but we don't because there aren't any, you know?
Oh yeah, well that's so sad.
This is the picture that Pickle was more of a fan of. It's very dark, isn't it? My phone brightness is quite low. Oh. That's Pickle. My peaky egg. Looks like Mount Everest, that head.
Your little leg.
There you go. You now know what she looks like. She does exist. That's who's sat there. Right. Have I pinned that? I feel like an old man trying to use a phone these days. Right, Blue Sky, where are you? You've got the Dark Lord hairstyle. Right, can we not? My camera's gone now as well. It's going to look like I'm hiding because you've insulted me. What's your FPL target for the season? It's always the same, top 50k. I finished top 50. I finished top 35k 3 seasons in a row. I finished 35k, 10k, 29k. So yeah, I finished. Oh my god, I'm in a lot of pain. We finished. I finished basically on a 4th season in top 50k. Basically, is that going to be enough for my camera? I was going to need to be reset again. What am I doing? Where's my camera gone? There you go. Nope, going to need to be reset again. All I'm seeing is Harry Potter jokes. Handsome Voldemort. It's like handsome Squidward. Right, let me pin this to my profile. Pin to your profile. Why are you laughing at that? You shouldn't be encouraging this behaviour.
Oh, Shelby's so funny. That's so rude.
Right. Someone just said listen to Pathos and Experience. Yes, listen to Einaudi. I love it. Is it beautiful? Harry Panero in the chat. Good to see you, my friend. Cunha 2 goals today. That would be impressive, Harry, because Cunha plays on Monday. But yes, on Monday, if on Monday, if Cunha can score 2 goals, that'd be wonderful. I would like that. HP like the sauce. Everyone's very excited that Harry's in the chat. Has the deadline ended? Yes, the deadline ended 20 minutes ago, sadly. Yeah, 20 minutes ago. What are your plans for Christmas, mate? Are you cooking or is Pickle? For Christmas Day, it'll be my mother. Pickle's coming to mine for Christmas. Wasn't me, my son's logged in.
I blindly was like, yep, that's happening.
Yeah, Pickle's coming to me for Christmas. And we're going to Essex together, basically, which is where my family live. So my mother is going to cook me a wonderful roast dinner. And let me tell you, my mum makes a cracking roast dinner. Oh, it's going to be good. Let me tell you what goes into the roast dinner. There's parsnips. There's sage and onion stuffing. There's pigs in blankets. We normally have chicken, to be fair, which I know people think it's boring, but we have chicken. Yorkshire puddings. What else? Probably roasted carrots. Probably some broccoli in there, because we have to have our greens, you know? I really fancy a roast dinner now. I'll be honest. I can't wait to drink so much on Christmas. I don't drink anyway, but I don't drink around Christmas. I don't think anything worse than being hungover on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, or Boxing Day. It's a time when you want to be relaxed. Do you like black pudding? No, don't think so. I've not had it for a while, to be fair.
I've never tried it, you know.
It's...
I can't imagine I'd like it, though, to be honest.
Broccoli is the best vegetable, not even close.
Oh, I love broccoli.
I would say tender stem broccoli is the best vegetable. Normal broccoli is probably like 5th. Have you ever had honey glazed carrots? They're unbelievable. I feel like you're losing the purpose of having veg at that point.
No,
But
that sounds good, though.
wonderful, you get Essex together for Christmas. Do you do it any other time of year? I really don't go home enough, to be honest. I'm just so busy. I'm hoping after I finish my PhD, I'll have more time. My mum said can't wait. If you're wondering, Sam in the chat is my mum. The moderator. I made my mum a moderator just so I could see her messages. Not that my mum's going to moderate, but she's there so that I can see her messages easier. What are the 4 vegetables above normal broccoli? I'm glad you asked. Oh, no, I was going to say avocado, and then people are going to tell me that's a fruit, aren't they? Technically. Avocado's not fruit, but it is, isn't it? What vegetables are above brocas?
Difficult because tender stem for me is like one of my favourites.
No, like normal broccoli.
Normal. Oh well, tender stem then.
Oh yeah, so tender
Is it
stem.
gonna be like?
Oh yeah, potatoes. If we're gonna be like that, potatoes.
What am I excited to see?
Roasted carrots would be above it for me.
Oh no, that's a no from me.
Oh.
That's dead.
Oh, sorry, Mum.
Sorry.
Pickle's abusing your food already.
No, just roasted carrots in general.
How are roasted carrots dead? Like that's actually, I could break up with you for that statement alone.
They're just not. I just don't like carrots that much.
Roasted carrots are dead.
I'd rather eat a parsnip than a carrot.
Oh yeah, I'd rather a parsnip. Oh, parsnips are vegetable. Parsnips are definitely. Oh yeah, beetroot. There we go. We got our 4. Beetroot slaps out. I would just eat beetroot out of the jar. Do pickles and olives count? Are they vegetables? Olives aren't vegetables, are they? One sec. Are olives vegetables? No. Olives are a fruit. Oh, they've got the pip in, haven't they? I don't agree with that. So you're telling me I eat a bowl of olives, I've had loads of fruit. No. It's not okay. Are pickles... You should know this. You're a pickle. Yes, pickles are vegetables. Even though they're made from cucumbers, which are... I'm sorry, a cucumber's a fruit.
Oh, yeah.
Right, hear me out. No, I'm not having this. Hear me out. Hear me out. So you're eating olives and cucumber, and you're telling me that you're having fruit. It's just not a thing. Doesn't. No, not okay. Tomatoes are fruit. That makes more sense. Still don't like it, though. Yes, they have seeds. No way. So you're going to tell me a pepper's a fruit as well? Pepper's a fruit. So when you're having a salad, you're basically having a fruit salad then, aren't you? With cucumber and pepper. That's just all fruit. Let's just have a fruit salad. If I said I want a fruit salad, no one's making me peppers and cucumber. I'm disgusted. It's woke nonsense. Oh, literally, as I said that, Stuart says, none of those are fruits. Woke nonsense. Thank you. Imagine what Sean Dyche would say if you told him that those are fruits. Chilies are fruit. See, this is it, man. This is it. So chilies are fruit. I've seen it all. I've heard it all. It's disgusting behaviour. Do you fancy a McDonald's?
Not really.
What? What do you fancy?
I don't fancy anything.
I'm so hungry. It's the first time Pickles ever said to me no when I've said you fancy a McDonald's.
That's so not true.
Watermelon is a fruit. Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I would say so. Ross, an apple is a vegetable at this bloody rate. I know, Jack, it's woke nonsense.
Do people know that you hate sweet corn? Because I think that's so random.
Jack, does anyone else here like despise sweet corn with a passion? It is my least favourite food in the world, after raw onion.
He even dislikes the smell of it.
Sweet corn is filth. Please tell me if anyone agrees with me that sweet corn is filth. Tinned sweet corn. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have some Green Giant tinned, sloppy, disgusting sweet corn. Filth. Filth. Jack said yes. Sweet corn is meh. Love sweet corn. Anyone that loves sweet corn is getting banned and blocked.
Excuse me.
How can you despise sweet corn? It doesn't even taste much. It tastes awful. It smells even worse.
No, you're weird.
Do you know what? Corn on the cob I will appreciate more than tinned sweet corn that's in that juice.
I think I've never known anyone dislike sweet corn. Like it's one of those foods that I just
Yeah,
wouldn't expect
my
people to
dad
like.
hates it, right? My dad hates it, and he's the least. My dad would eat anything. Like when I say anything other than he doesn't really like seafood, fishy stuff, but also sweet corn.
It's,
That shows that it's not just me.
it's one of those foods where it's like I can understand if people are like it's all right, but I've never known anyone to be like I highly dislike it. I think that's very strange.
Dennis says, Yo, G, you are so amazing to watch on deadline day. Having a blast while sorting out my team together with you and the chat. It's not much, but it's a token of appreciation. Keep it up. Love from Sweden. What an amazing man. Thank you for the wonderful super chat. I'd actually like to go to Sweden at some point, Dennis, but I appreciate you very much. That means a lot. Thank you for the kind words and for the super chat. Aren't you all very sweet? I'm one of those people where coriander tastes like soap.
I wasn't, and then the COVID
Yeah.
screwed me, but I think it's back now.
Yeah, I do get it though. Coriander has got a very unique, strong flavour to it. I would expect a tender stem broccoli man to be a sweet corn hater, to be fair. Listen, don't start. Favourite psychologist? Don't know. Modern day? Matthew Walker. William James, technically, because he founded everything, basically. I'll say Daniel Kahneman. They were asking for my favourite psychologist.
Oh.
Got to be Freud, pioneered the MILF genre. No, Freud was just a crazy bastard that took loads of heroin and cocaine. Freud was insane. I don't think it's mentioned enough how many drugs Freud took. Pavlov the goat. Yeah, I don't mind Pavlov. Pavlov the goat. Skinner. We're going to do operant and what's the word I'm looking for? Conditioning. Any news on the other matches getting postponed, Raptor? I don't think so. I think it will just be the Everton-Liverpool game. Last week I sold Isak for Jackson. This week I went early on Trent. Love FPL sometimes. That's painful. Damn, you still got over 2k here. Yeah, I know. So many people stick around. It's wonderful. I like it. This is the best part of the stream because like, there's not like tons of super chats to answer. There's not tons of things that I've constantly got to be doing it. I'm not like worried about the deadline. Like I just can chill it, sit back and relax. Corn is nasty, but coriander is amazing. Stop it. Thank you, Dennis. A man after my heart. I agree with you. I love the food chat. I like the food chat, but the thing is, like, I don't eat in the mornings, right? So I don't have breakfast. I didn't even have a coffee this morning. So this morning, all I've had is that much water. That's how much, and I woke up at 7. I mean, it's only been 4.5 hours since I woke up, but that's all I've had. So firstly, I should drink more water. But secondly, I should really eat food soon. I get so hungry. Daniel Kahneman. I thought you said cardamom. No. Got cardamom on the mind, Claudette. I don't really like breakfast. I don't like breakfast. I know it's really controversial. I don't really love cereal. I'm not a massive fan of toast on a regular basis. And I'm also just not very hungry when I wake up. Like I take about an hour, hour and a half minimum to get hungry. And then at that stage, I'm like, do you know what? Lunch is in a few hours. I'll just wait till lunch. Is there a way after the game's updated to see what percentage of people captain who? Follow FPL Focal on Twitter. He usually tweets it. There's no way on the official game, but FPL Focal usually tweets out the stats. Ross, have you heard of Sam Harris and what's your opinion of him? I may have. Doesn't ring a bell, but I probably have. A fry-up is absolutely beautiful, but I'd rather eat it for lunch. This is it. Yeah, like some breakfast foods are fine, but I'd still probably rather have it around like 12. Ross, super important question. How is your health? Honestly, not very good. So you guys know that I had that really bad period of health where I lost like over 6 kilos. I finally got over that because my immune system has been battered. I've got a salivary gland infection, which is, by the way, one of the most painful things I've ever had. And I've got an ear infection. So I was at the doctor's on Thursday with that. So I've got 2 infections because my immune system was just so compromised. So I'm honestly not doing too well, sadly, health-wise. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there. My mum said, what about MASH? There was this period in my life, right, between, I would say, like 11 and 16, my mum would always be like, "Oh, what do you want for dinner? Do you want some mash?" And I don't know why my mum always had mash. She must have just had so many potatoes. But this was a point in my life where by the way, I love mash now, but I didn't even really like mash. Just every day for dinner, she'd be like, "Do you want some mash?" It's like, "No, mum, I don't want some bloody mash." You know? Now I love mash. I would actually we had mash not long ago. When was it? Thursday? Wednesday? Wednesday. Wednesday night we had sausage and mash. Oof.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Bangers and mash. Very British. Very good. Controversial opinion here. I dip my McDonald's chips in the milkshakes and I'm not ashamed. Dave, have you ever put a... I almost swore then out of excitement. Have you ever put a chicken McNugget in a milkshake? I once dipped a McNugget in my banana milkshake. And let me tell you, it was divine. I was going to say, that laptop sounds like it's going to blow up. Yeah, honestly. Don't diss it until you've tried it. Ross, God bless you. You're a legend. Thank you. Boycott McDonald's. I'm sadly can't do that. I love McDonald's. Honestly, nugget in the milkshake. Beautiful. Banana. I know I'm weird. I do like the banana milkshake more than the chocolate. I dropped that from the chocolate and the strawberry milkshake. Just tuned into some McDonald's dunking tactics. Love to hear it. This is what we're all about here on this channel. I feel sick after eating takeaways. I wish I did. I wish that was me. We had a takeaway last night. We very much overindulged at a very bougie Indian. Chat, don't get me started on the Indian talk again. I ordered 2 chicken Rogan Joshes. Pickle had a little bit of it, but it was largely me. We had all sorts of different stuffs. We had something called... Well, Pickle had something called Bindi Amchurian, which is like okra in... some herbs and spices. What else do we have? A biryani. Yeah. We had 2 naans, a peshwari and a garlic. We had 3 poppadoms with some mango chutney. It was a wonderful curry last night, let me tell you that. I love food. Chat, I love food. But I'm getting to that age now, right? I'm 27 years old. And before everyone says stuff, yes, I look like I'm 500 years old. I'm 27 years old. I have started to notice that my metabolism isn't the same as it used to be. When I was like 23, 24, even 25, I could eat what I wanted. This year... Wait, I'm not 27, am I?
Yeah, you are.
Am I? Am I 28?
You're 27.
No.
Yes. You need to stop doing this. You did this when you were 26.
I think I turned 27 6 years ago. I'm pretty sure. I keep forgetting my age. Anyway, I'm 20... Wait, when we work out? 1997.
You were 27.
I'm 27. Okay, I'm 27, apparently. Where was I at? Oh, my metabolism. Anyway, this year, I'm putting on weight a lot quicker than I used to. So I need to calm myself down. I actually really thought I was 28.
You did this last year.
I'm born in 1997. Dave says, I'm 25. Don't tell me the metabolism stops. Honestly, Dave, this year, like I say, like... I never used to be able to bulk up. I used to try and bulk up at the gym and I couldn't put on weight. This year, I can put on weight very easily and I've stopped losing it. Which, yeah, as someone said, might be why I'm not getting hungry in the mornings. Take a bite of your cheeseburger and then drink some Coke with it. I respect it. Can I just say banana is the GOAT? Or just bananas in general? I do like bananas. I once dunked Leif Davis into a banana milkshake. Let me tell you, it was divine. What time does Leif Davis play today? Is it 3 p.m? Normally is, isn't it, for Ipswich? Leif. I just typed in Leif Davis on Google. I meant to type in Ipswich. I love Leif Davis. Not the first time I searched for him on Google. Oh, it's tomorrow. What? I've got to wait for Leif Davis 15-pointer until tomorrow. That's ruined my day. What games are at 3 p.m. today, then? Let's have a look. Your Nana is so proud of you. Thanks, Nan. I love you. What a feeder my Nana is. She loves giving. Oh, my God. There's barely any games on today. Aston Villa, Southampton, Brentford, Newcastle, Palace, City, and then at 5:30, we've got United, Forest. So I have today Rodgers, Isak. Is that it? Oh, no, Brentford. I've got in Burmo as well, don't I? Rodgers, Isak, and Burmo. I've got a feeling all 3 of them are going to blank, to be honest, now. I tried lamb biryani. It was bussin'. Biryani does slap. So flavoursome. Right, all this food talk, I can't do any longer, chat. I'm very sorry. I love you all very much. Thank you for being here. It was a crazy stream, to be honest. That is the most views. Chat, we've had almost 90,000 viewers. That's the highest in a long time. 1,600 likes. It's crazy. And all of the regulars are still here, and I appreciate you very much. If for some reason you're still here and you're not subscribed, this is the first time, then please do consider subscribing. Really appreciate it. Thank you for 140,000 subscribers as well. That's pretty awesome. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow for a transfer plans video. I think. Could be Monday morning, but probably tomorrow. And then it will just be regular content this week because we have no midweek deadline, which honestly I'm quite happy about. So yeah, thank you very much for being here as always. I appreciate you all so much. Hope you have a wonderful weekend and hopefully we get a green arrow. That's what we want here. I'll see you soon. Love you lots. Bye.